Gears on gears on gears. A whole lot of spotlights this summer. GTASC claims a host. Game Club is in session. Worried about keeping up with GTASC? Try listening to some Twisted Sister. This is Achievement Hunting 101, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm your host, Fufu Cully Poof, and thank you for joining. This is level 58. So we got a great show for you guys tonight. But before we get to all that, let me introduce to you who will be joined. As always, I have with me Nate and Elle. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey, Nutella.
All right, then. And this week, Corey is out. He had to cross the Atlantic to do some gaming, so in his place is the one person on the show who refuses to show her face, even though her picture is now the Twitter banner. We have with us Michelle. How's it going?
It's good. I can't show my face because I'm constantly running away from the police, as you can hear outside my window, so it's really like a protection thing.
That makes sense. I can understand that. So this week in America, we celebrated, at least on the East Coast, we celebrated two holidays. Nationwide, everyone's celebrated Labor Day, but we also celebrated a very wonderful holiday. The kids are back in school.
Yay.
Yes.
Not quite yet up here in New York. Not quite. Very close.
Okay, here in Maryland, we celebrate a wonderful day. The kids are back in school today.
Just
Actually, the day
today,
this releases will be New York's. Yeah, they've all gone back to school day.
How does that affect you, Kenny?
I have two teenage boys that now, because of school, will go to bed on time, and they're not going to be up running around late at night. So that's wonderful.
You have two teenage boys?
Well, yes. I'm actually much older than I look.
Oh.
I look like I'm 13, but I'm actually, older. I don't want to disclose my real age.
Mm-hmm,
and like Michelle said, yes, that's why I'm growing the beard.
Wow.
That and also lost a bet. But Nate, how was your holiday weekend? Did you get any gaming in?
I did get a little bit of gaming in, yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, this past week, I got some assistance because we were closing out the RTDL from last month. But we were also closing out, or almost closing out, the Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone boost. I think we're going to try one more night tomorrow, I think, to get everyone who has a little bit of stuff left over, trying to get them done so we can start deleting these things from hard drives.
I feel like you guys have said one more session for the past month, at least in the Discord.
I don't know about that, but...
Well, and to be fair to those of us who've been saying that, many of us have actually finished along the way. We're keeping the game installed to continue helping people. It's not because it's not a Borderlands situation. We actually are logging in and playing it when we say we're going to.
And I think we skipped 1 or 2 weeks too, or not enough people were on or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this past week we got a big crew together. I think we had full parties or almost full parties.
Yeah. We actually had too many people.
Yeah.
And we didn't need all the helpers.
We actually got some completions in. We got Freak Servo, we got Philip Wendell, we got CarpeAdam, we got Bomber37, I believe, and we got Koosh Moose. At least that was on my friend feed. There might have been others.
Nice.
But those were people that were present in that party and all got the completion last week. So hopefully we can get a few more people through this week. And then at that point, it's going to be pick up or ask, beg nicely. I'm not sure. In addition to that, I had to get an achievement in Soda Drinker Pro for the new RTDL.
I'm sorry.
I played about 80 levels of it one night.
Did you lose a bet too?
I did not. I heard a review from someone that hates crappy game or loves crappy games. And I said, you know what? Why not? And the price was right. So I got it, and I haven't played it in a long time.
Were you talking or listening to Elroy?
So I have most of this game done now. I need to go back and do a little bit of cleanup. But yeah, so I sat through, got that done. I also got some assistance on Onrush before it left Game Pass. I got some assistance from Beast Middle and AZ Mongoose, and Beast Middle already had the completion. I think helped him out a little bit earlier in the week, and then he came back and AZ Mongoose jumped on. We got AZ Mongoose done, and then this guy stuck around with me for another hour or two, getting some of the stuff that I need done, and then had them take off, and I completed it because some things were easier solo or absolutely needed to be done solo. Also did Realm Royale for last month's RTDL. I got Chin to help me out. He helped Sherpa me through some kills and get some other achievements while we were in it. I needed 50 kills as an assassin. We also got some other stuff done, like the 12 kills in one session. So playing as twos was really nice, and playing with someone who knows the game and has a strategy going in was really nice. Then I also played for this month's RTDL, My Brother Rabbit. Has anyone else played this one?
Yeah.
That's the point and click, right?
It is a point and click. It's an Artifacts Mundi.
Staying away from that.
We played
very different from all their others. You did
Yeah,
play
it doesn't feel like their other titles.
Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't, but it doesn't have like those hidden picture puzzles. Instead, it has like assemble this thing from these hidden items. But yeah, it was the first Artifacts Mundi that I think I've actually cared about the story. Like all the others were just like, just get it done, just get it done. This one I actually paid attention to the story and really enjoyed it, and I was going to be really upset if it went one way. But I actually enjoyed that game. I went up and I cleaned it up this morning after getting my daughter on the bus, and I had a little bit of extra game time, so I went back. Luckily, when you are done, if you miss one of, I think there's 3 missables, you can do chapter select. Now it doesn't get you right where you need to be. You may have to dig your way in. I had to do that for 2 chapters. 2 separate chapters. I had to go in and get these things done. And then finally, the last thing I played, which is really fun, and it's a different type of game than I've played, and it's really stylish and very cool, and that is on PC Ultimate Game Pass, is Ape Out.
Sure.
Yeah. So this game apparently is a lot like Hotline Miami, which I've not played. But I've read reviews that said it's very similar to Hotline Miami in that you can die pretty quickly, and reloads are instantaneous and such. You are an ape, and you're in captivity, and your job is to break out and get to the exit. And you're kind of like running. I don't want to give too much away, but the music is pretty cool.
That artwork is interesting.
Yeah, you have to see it in motion. And when you play it, it's very cool because your actions are tied to the music. It's kind of like jazz. So it's kind of like this jazz soundtrack. And when you punch people, it like does like a drum smash and like cymbals. And then there's a lot of gore. So as soon as you hit somebody, you pretty much push them really far and fast. And if they hit a wall, they just splat. And then there's like legs and things. And you can pick up arms, legs. You can throw them to stun other people. You can actually grab people. If they've got a gun, they'll actually shoot the gun and shoot other people. And they serve as a human shield, literally a human shield, to this ape. And until they get shot, and then they die, and splat. And then you have to keep going on. So this is a tough game. It's fun, and the achievements are kind of far between. It's like you get them per level, but then there's some really difficult achievements. There's one called Banana. And after some sleuthing, some Googling, discovered that banana means you play the game, and somewhere on that level will be a banana, like on a table, in a corner. It's never the same place. It's always random. It may not be on the very first level of that zone that you're in, but you will find it somewhere if you go to every room. Oof. Once you grab that banana, you don't drop it. But if you die, you lose the banana. You start over. It's in a new position. So you have to basically have to restart the whole thing, go through, find the banana, make it all the way through. Not only do you have to do that on normal, you also have to do that on hard. So this is going to be a very difficult completion, but it is a fun game. Play it on someone else's tag. Maybe yours, but an alternate tag. I don't recommend stealing someone else's tag to play this. Yeah. But it's quite a fun game. It's very interesting, and I think people should check it out if they like that or it sounds interesting.
Yeah, half the achievements haven't even been unlocked yet.
Yeah, I think I think some of them might be a little bit buggy too. I swear. Okay, so there's one for not taking damage in a level, and then not taking damage on a chapter, which is 4 levels, I think. So I'm pretty sure I took no damage for one level and the achievement didn't pop. There's also pacifist, so don't kill any humans for an entire level. Don't kill any humans for an entire chapter. So it's going to be a tough completion, but it is a fun game. I think people should check it out. Even if you're just watching a video of it, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, it's Devolver Digital.
Mm-hmm.
This game runs okay on your computer? Do you have any performance issues with that at all?
No, it runs just fine. You've got to check out the art style, if nothing else. It's very. It doesn't seem very demanding in terms of the graphics, and the levels are very short. Yeah, they're very short. They're very cool. It's just oozing with style. I definitely recommend people check it out. But that's me. I've played a lot of games, and I got a lot of help. So thank you, everyone.
Not bad. How was your week, Michelle?
Not as lengthy or interesting, I suppose, but I did play games. So just like Nate was saying, it was end of random to-do list, beginning of new random to-do list. So I was wrapping up last month's list. I did manage to get that full combo right at the wire.
Nice.
And I did have to take advantage of rerolls. I was away for a week and I just would not have had the time to do everything on my original list. But one thing I really enjoyed in that last week was getting to spend time with LA Noire. So that wound up being the last achievement I needed for the full combo, is called the Brass, and it's the achievement for hitting rank 20 in LA Noire. Ranks in LA Noire are attached to how well you do on the interrogations, and also attached to some of the collectibles in the game. So you don't need to get all the way through. I think I got to story mission 13 of 21, and then just ran a bunch of street crimes and did some collectibles. But there's really nothing else exactly like it. Like, there are other games that are similar, where it's about solving crimes and things that have happened in that regard, but I've had so much fun playing it.
Oh, that game is a gem. It's so good.
It really is. Double bonus, it's classified as puzzle on TA for some reason. So
really?
I'm getting puzzle points there.
What?
Yeah, I guess because the logic you have to go through by triggering a lie correctly by having the right evidence. I'm not sure, but it surprises me every time.
That's interesting.
So that might explain why you have a placement on the puzzle leaderboard since you played that game.
Possibly.
Very possibly. But it's a great game, and I've definitely enjoyed going back through it. I did play through the game naturally without a guide, locally with Elle. We went through and tried to figure out all the interviews and all that on our own. And we have finished the game, so I had no problem going through with a guide on this time to expedite it. But what's been fun about it is seeing all the different dialogue trees and how they really accounted for every eventuality. If you say this or go to this place at a different time, and how are you going to get that license plate? Well, you can get it from the bartender, or you can get it through this interrogation, but only if you have this evidence. It's really brilliant. And it's unfortunate how things turned out with LA Noire and how that's not something that's likely to ever be revisited.
Yeah.
But managed to get that achievement. Also, unfortunately, probably will not return to the game, at least for this month, as we get into the last month of RTDL for the team side. So after rollover, I was over at L's, and he's like, all right, what can we do? What can I help you with on your list this month while you're here? And we settled into Stikbold, the dodgeball game. Any of you played this other than L, who obviously has?
Yeah.
I have not.
It's very wacky. I love it.
It has a really bizarre sense of humor to it, and it's fun to play. Again, it's another game where there's really just not anything else like it. And in each of the levels, you have a basic task, which is usually to beat an opposing team of some sort. And then you'll have special tasks where you can, beat a team without hitting any of the obstacles and things like that. So the achievement I drew was for getting all of the characters that you can get in the game. And I have all of them except for the one that you get for beating the game on its hardest difficulty. So it was a long night of gaming where Elle and I actually did not get too frustrated at each other, but we managed to get that done too, and wrapped up that game and actually got a completion I wasn't anticipating, and it's a pretty solid one. It's like a little over a 2 ratio. So it's a good one to have, and it's a fun game to play in co-op. So that was a good time. And that was, I know Corey told the story last week about our Toe Jam and Earl adventures. And just as a point of clarification, Prue said he wanted to hurl his Kinect into the sun, not into the stove. That said, controller. That said, I do have to give a shout out to Prue, because he not only Sherpa'd me through that, but he also helped me with the one Halo level I had to get a par score on, which was keys. So he was a big help to me last.
Playing Borderlands.
Yeah, we did. But it was successful, so it was okay. And that was really it. I've been playing a little bit of everything here and there based on random to-do lists, but those were the 2 stories that stuck out for me.
How was your week, El?
That was good. I helped Michelle do stuff, and that's it.
Well,
we bolted some sticks.
You didn't, fall flat on your face at all?
Wow, you trying to help me along here? Jeez.
No, not at all. I'm totally not reading the doc that I don't have up right now.
I actually forgot to mention something last week that we did. We played Thimbleweed Park.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that was a really funny gamerino. Don't you think, Kaboo? Yeah, that's old point-and-click style, but the entire game is voice-acted, so it's just, they do a really good job with that, and just very, very funny.
It's also, sorry to cut you off, there's if you've played those Lucasfilm games in the past, there's so many nods to them that's a whole other layer. It's fun on its own because the writing is good and the puzzles are clever, but all of that callback to that era in design they're just really fantastic. And everywhere you look, oh, there's that thing. Every time you come into a microwave, you're like, is there a hamster in there? I should be careful, because they're going to refer back to that. So they really do a great job of paying homage to their history.
Now, did you play this before or after you got your completion?
It was for Michelle's RTGL of last month.
Her. Okay. I was just wondering if that game, because it is more of a long form game. I was just wondering if you felt any pressure, or I just know when it gets towards the end of the month with RTDL, I don't find myself enjoying games as much as maybe I could.
I think rerolls kind of came into play there, because I found myself at a point at the end of the month where I still had Thimbleweed Park, which I did. I had LA Noire, which I wound up doing. And then the other 2 achievements, which I wound up rerolling, were the 5 deaths or less run in Typo Man, which is skill-based, so maybe that goes well, maybe that doesn't, so decided not to play with that. And the other one was Titanfall 360, to get all the hardware, so maxing all the levels of the different guns or whatever. Easy, but time-consuming. It is easy the way that people can set up their bots and such. It's actually not a terribly tricky thing. It's not a skilled thing. But it's time. And I definitely found at a point with about a week to go that I had to make a decision, because I definitely wanted to do LA Noire. That was my top priority. That if I held on to those other ones, there's no way I would be able to sit and actually enjoy the time I was playing it. It would just feel like a chore to get through it. Thimbleweed Park, we chose to play locally, and my brother was over too. So the 3 of us were going through and enjoying the different quips and stuff. So there is a little bit of that enters into it. I get what you're saying, where sometimes the games become not fun because you're really just playing I need to get to here and then drop it. But we were in a situation with our team rerolls and whatnot that I was able to get rid of some other stuff and be able to enjoy these games more so, I think.
Yeah, I like to take those story-based games that are on the RTDL, and I like to do those first, earlier in the month, because then I can actually enjoy them and go through and maybe not feel that clock as much.
Well, and I'm this month, for example, so not that I want to make this the Time Spinner show, but I'm going to mention Time Spinner here. I got 2 Time Spinner achievements on my list for this month, and I've decided I'm actually going to do them at the end, because since next month is no longer the team competition, and I really never played so hard in RTDL when it was just a solo thing, I want to play it toward the end of the month, because my achievements are both fairly early, so that way I can just keep playing it without that feeling of, okay, like Yoku's Island I played last month, and I got up to what I needed to get up to, and I dropped it immediately, even though I was enjoying the game, because I had to move on to the next thing I needed to do for RTDL. So with story ones, especially if I want to continue the game, I usually try to drop those towards the end, so if I have time left at the end of the month, that's the project I can continue with.
Yeah, I recommend going back to Yoku's, because if you let too much time pass, you're going to forget the different pathways, you're going to forget different rooms, you're going to forget mechanics.
I already have.
Okay, wow.
I'm resigned to having to restart the game anyways, because I wasn't following a guide. I was just kind of making a beeline to the story-based achievement I had, so I'm sure I missed a lot anyway. So at some point I'll get back to that one.
Yeah, also the achievement she needed in Thimbleweed Park was kind of in the middle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already gone through up to a certain part for my own RTTL. So with her and her brother there, we were all kind of going through, and I was seeing if they could figure out stuff without me telling them what to do. And they still did a pretty good job, actually. There's a couple little things here and there where you say to yourself, oh, I don't think I would have figured that out without a guide. And then the game knows this, and they make reference to you using a guide, and they have...
Yes, they do.
Like, oh, you're using a walkthrough, and there's a hint line in the game that you can use, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Oh, that was fun.
Speaking of losing bets and things like that, Michelle played Paradox Soul, and she wanted to stop playing at the achievement on her list, but I made her finish the game.
That's also true.
Any thoughts on that, Michelle?
Is there anything to actually think about, or is it just nothing?
Well,
do you remember any of it?
I'm trying to think of what to say while being polite.
It was a Ratalaika game.
Yeah, it is similar to all Ratalaikas. Like, if it had more room to breathe, maybe it would have been better. Like, I honestly don't know if the game is just the 50 or so rooms you can see on that map, or if there's more to it beyond that moment. You played this already, right, Koosh?
Yeah, I played it. We got to the last achievement and played a little bit farther. And I have not deleted it because I thought, maybe. Maybe. I actually had the chance to delete it while I was deleting some other games, and I still haven't deleted it, so you never know.
No, I actually didn't mind the game in and of itself, other than I couldn't figure out how to ever defeat the robots that shoot at you without getting hit. Like, there should be some way to dodge them, avoid them, duck under them, but I couldn't figure out a single way.
There's cover, right?
No, I didn't know there was cover.
There's a cover mechanic. So there are you didn't know this? So there are boxes in rooms, and if you slide into them, I noticed
those boxes.
If you slide into the boxes, you take cover behind them. And then
Does the game actually show you that at any point?
Yeah.
I wasn't, rushing that much.
I'm pretty sure it does, because I don't think I would have figured that out.
I'm not sure.
Because I didn't pay that much attention to it.
I can't remember if you have to hit a button right next to the box, or if you do a dodge roll into it, you go into cover.
Wow.
I think you push A or something like that when you're next to a box.
Yeah. But
okay, see, I learned something here. But I will admit, at the end, when Elle was telling me, he's like, well, you have to get to room A33, or whatever it was. So for those of you who haven't played the game, it is very basic Metroidvania, in that you do have to go and collect items so you can then go back into other areas of the map. But the map in this game is really weird. If you've ever seen a Metroidvania, it's usually very easy to read block patterns, sort of, and you go up and down. This one instead presents the map in terms of showing you sort of the levels of each room in different little boxes. So I actually was beginning to enjoy myself when I would say, okay, you have to get to this room, because I would look at the little box and be like, all right, I'm in A17, which means I had to go through to room A18, then down into room A4. Like, it felt a little bit like I was navigating the secret Legends of the Hidden Temple in that Nickelodeon game show. Where
Nice.
it's
Someone else knows what that is. I love that show.
So, but I was enjoying that element of it, actually, for the little bit that I got there, like just navigating the locations. But just like all Ratalaika games, it shoots itself in the foot by deciding, well, you've beaten the second enemy out of question mark number of enemies, because nobody's getting any further than that. You're good.
You're not wrong. You just kind of made me like that game a little bit more, of that Secrets of the Hidden Temple. I kind of like that game just a tad more.
I was waiting for one of the guys to come out and take my life token. Yeah.
That sounds familiar, but I don't really remember the show.
Well, you know that last week was a peanut butter tangent. This week's gonna be a Nickelodeon game show tangent.
I'm all for this. Let's go. Nickelodeon Guts, baby.
So, right, you know, there was a whole block of game shows on Nickelodeon. Guts and Double Dare.
Double Dare, yeah.
Double Dare is the best.
Yeah, so this was just another one of those... you probably know this without knowing you do, where, like, the kids would have to talk to, like, a giant animatronic head, and it would tell them a story about some ancient civilization. They would answer questions of the purple parrots and, you know, the silver snakes and all this stuff, and then they would go through at the end, and they'd run through this temple, and the rooms had different traps in them and whatnot. Anyway,
what was the video game show?
The video game show, Nick
The
Arcade.
Wizard?
Yeah, Nick Arcade. The Wizard.
Yeah, Nick Arcade,
one-
which had
the one with
some
Mikey.
terrible
Which was the one with
mid
Mikey?
'90s green screen. So the kids would actually be like live in the game, and they'd get hit by a fireball like
Mikey.
4 feet above their head, and they'd lose a life.
Yes.
That was great.
good times.
And they always got to play like Sonic 2. That was the big deal in that. They would get to pick arcade games, and whichever team got the most score in that would get to move on. Something to that
Some of
effect.
this sounds familiar, yeah.
See, I ever remember watching that. I remember all
It
the other
wasn't
ones.
very
I don't remember the
good.
video game one.
Nick Arcade. 1990,
I just remember for
sure they
1992.
had,
That's well before you were born.
I remember for sure, though, Sonic 2 was always a game. Maybe Outrun. They were always games that the kids got to play. And the hook of the game was whatever team won got to go to, like, the big boss level at the end, which, again, was a green screen thing. It was a little bit like the very, very early precursor to Kinect, with the same amount of tracking issues.
What was that one show when they had to guess the puzzle, the secret phrase?
Classic concentration.
Wheel of Fortune.
That's what I was thinking, too.
I don't know when I say it had like the conveyor belt where they would have things that give them a hint.
Fun.
That's it right there. Oh, but it doesn't just say it.
Tell us, Kenny.
Nick Gas. That is a
Nick
logo I've not
Gas.
seen in a very long time.
Nick Gas?
Games and sports.
Nick Guess?
Gas. No,
Gas.
that's something different. It's not the game
Is
show
it
I'm
Taco
talking
Bell?
about.
Okay.
Gosh, I keep seeing like
So
all
anyway.
figure it out. That's what it is. It's figure it out.
Oh.
I couldn't figure it out. I love that game show, and that actually had a little bit of a resurgence a little bit late. Probably about 3 years ago, I came back.
Yeah, look at that.
Well,
That's weird. So we're talking about old Nickelodeon shows, and Corey isn't here. The two
Sorry,
youngins
Luigi.
aren't the ones talking about Nickelodeon. What were we talking about?
I think you were asking if Elle fell flat on his gaming goals this week.
Wow, that was like 15
That was
minutes
a half
ago,
hour
but yes.
ago.
Man, that's one heck of a tangent.
Well, we actually planned this out in theory about 10 weeks ago when we found out that you needed to get to week 10 in GTASCTT to get a bonus. Not a bonus, a badge, a community badge. And we're like, yeah, Human Fall Flat will be worth a lot of TA. Foof! Should have been there.
Yeah.
So what's a good adjective for Wakapeil? Angelic.
Oh, that.
That's the one.
Yes. Angelic Waka.
Of course, the word is delightful. A delightful gentleman, Wakapeil, decided to run through 7 crazy people on a Saturday afternoon. And he said, it'll take about 4 hours.
Oh, God, that's a lot of human fall flat.
And Michelle was over. So what happened was I had my Xbox in the bedroom and Michelle was playing in the living room. So I was not able to keep great tabs on my Xbox. So unfortunately, I wound up getting disconnected
Rip.
after about 3 or 4 stages. So everyone was nice enough to start over. And then at some point, I was
Typical
disconnected.
boosting session.
At some point, I was disconnected a second time. So unfortunately, I only got 4 achievements in the session. However, Philip Wendell had 53 achievements.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Blaze Flareon had 41. Geblach had 34. Michelle had 18. CarpeAdam had 33. And AZ Mongoose had 46. The 7 of us combined for 229 achievements for 12,459 TA score. So,
Wow.
that was a lot of human fall flatting.
Philip Wendell only has 6 more achievements he needs.
And I believe he was
Jeez.
starting it from scratch.
I can tell.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but Wakapeil totally delivered, as he always does. This was his idea from when GTASC was announced that this was going to be a community badge, and as Elle said before, let's get together and I'll just run you guys through. And other than Elle, there's no one who was in the session that wouldn't have been safe that week just using what they got out of that session. which is
Yes,
pretty
I wound
crazy
up
considering
safe,
everything.
and I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yes. I wound up safe, and the session actually took over 4 hours. It was more like 4.5.
Oof.
And we started at 2. Yeah, it was 6:30.
Right. But consider there was a restart of like the first 4 levels or so.
Well, they ran through
to...
quickly. And yeah, he was doing what he could to get everyone most of the achievements. He said some of them are easier single player, but most are easier in co-op because instead of having to find a box to push a switch, another person could just stand on the switch.
Right. And there's a lot of stuff too. So there's one achievement in the level castles. So this Wakapeil helped me with this the other month for random to-do list, where you have to parkour through a part of the stage perfectly. If 8 people are in the room and 1 person does it, everybody gets the achievement.
Which is wonderful.
So there was a lot of that sort of stuff too, where it wasn't just about like circumventing where you could go to make the stage go quick. Because part of the reason why this took so long was Waka was doing every little in between thing and playing the game from start to finish. So for those of you who don't know, there is an achievement. I think it's called Speedrunner for finishing the game in one sitting.
Sounds
But
right.
as the game has grown with extra levels via DLC and title updates, so has the requirement for that achievement. So you used to just need to play the 6 or 7 stages it launched with. Now you need to also play the Aztec stage and the new Steam stage. So this is getting progressively longer. But he got through everything. So he made sure not only to hit all these little in-between things that people had to do, but to play the game from start to finish. So everyone in there, except for Elle, who unfortunately got disconnected twice, was able to get it done.
Nice.
Yeah, Waka's the man. The angel. The delightful guy.
That is one game I cannot get the hang of. Like, it's something where it's like, okay, I'm starting to figure these controls out. I'm getting, I got this. Let's do it. And then the next stage or the next section comes up, and they throw in like a new little obstacle or whatever, and then it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I give up. That is not the easiest game in the world.
No.
Yeah, I find I have a very hard time in my brain differentiating what is moving elements in the game and what is just moving the camera. So I frequently wind up like looking at the ceiling while dragging a block over my head and falling into a pit. It's not a good look.
So thank you, Waka. One last random thing I wanted to mention of the random to-do list in its clumpiness is that Michelle's Stikbold achievement she needed for unlocking all the characters is called Completionist. On my random to-do list, I also had an achievement called Completionist in the game Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. And you would think it would be for collecting stuff, but no, it's for completing all the challenges. It's just an odd achievement name, in my opinion. So that is a lovely game. I've talked about it in the early episodes, but I want to reiterate that it's a game you can play in local co-op, and both people make progress towards their achievements. And the game is so smart that if you logged in, like say I'm playing with Michelle and then we finished up and then she logged in herself and looked at her challenges, it would all be there.
Well, that's
it's hard to explain, but it remembers.
I really feel in many ways the key difference is it was an Xbox Live Arcade game and not an Idea at Xbox game. Like, as bad as some of those Xbox Live Arcade games might have been, there were certain levels of, I don't know if it was like necessity because Microsoft was demanding it of these developers or what it was, but for whatever reason, many of those Xbox Live Arcade games were really good at that. Achievements popped on both profiles, they had online and offline co-op, they would have good internal tracking for things. It just I don't know what changed in that, but I think that has a lot to do with why all of that stuff in that game is so good. Because that's versus playing something like the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle that Elle got 2 achievements in that for random to-do list. We played one of the games start to finish and it didn't pop. And it seems like we have to try it and see if it'll pop in single player.
But
it's
well,
unforgivable.
I was going to just talk about Stikbold.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Stikbold is host only. So, well, it's fun, and we'll go through it twice anyway, but it would have been nice if it popped for both of us.
Right. It's just weird, that difference in what they require.
Few and far
or maybe,
between.
I don't know if they do or don't, but It's really something that's changed so much with the advent of ID at Xbox and the seemingly lower barrier to release on the Xbox platform.
Well, they wanted to try to make the barrier to entry a little bit easier for indie developers to get onto the Xbox. And with that, we now have, crap games like the Radaleka collection.
It's not just
cost?
the indie games,
At
though.
what cost?
So
No.
a lot of games you could tell it's going to do that, where it says your gamer tag on the screen, and then there's usually a button you press for profile to switch your profile, and then you kind of say, okay, that's host only. Then you have something like Overcooked and Overcooked 2, where you're picking your profiles for a controller, but then it still only pops for the host, so it's very strange.
Well, the first Overcooked, as I recall, did pop achievements for everyone except for the stars.
Oh, yes, that is
right?
true.
Didn't it? It popped achievements for
correct.
finishing levels, but you still had to get the stars for both people independently.
Yes.
So, if you're going for achievements, you're playing it twice all the way through anyway. But Overcooked 2 gives nothing to non-host profile.
That's very sad.
That's crazy.
Well, good thing we like Xpovos and playing things more than once.
Yes, there's nothing better than to play a game play a game twice, especially if you
Sure.
have all the achievements already.
Exactly.
Imagine if we had to play Borderlands 2 twice.
We barely play it once.
The Packers
We've
play
looked
the
for
Bears
every
on
excuse to not play
Thursday. So sorry, Prue. I mean, Prue already told us he's going to watch the Packers and the Bears, so he said we can't play. That's what damn it, Prue.
Come on, Prue.
Ridiculous.
In all
Sports ball.
honesty, it was Michelle this week telling us why we didn't play. We were there. She didn't want to play. She wanted to go do RTDL and some Halo achievement.
Yep.
Wait, you were late. Damn it, Kenny.
I was there.
No, you were late.
No, I was there.
You were late.
There. You're the one that's late.
There. Damn it.
You were there late.
You were late there.
You know what other game that all of us have been playing, actually, in the last couple weeks? Game that...
I'm going to go with Gears Pop.
Mary Poppins.
Oh. So, tell us, with your spinning gears, what new thoughts you have about it since another week has elapsed since its release.
Yes. So, I think I might have said something in error last week where I was talking about downranking and said that you will continue to get the Arena 5 crates all the way down in Arenas 3 and below. I think that's not true because I was doing some serious downranking in an attempt to get a 5-win streak as often as possible in order to get the the best loot that you can get, which without paying actual money. So I got a little too aggressive with that. I was also banking on, for RTDL, I want to get a lot of TA, right? Obviously, because I want that TA difference. So I had kind of worked my way up to 500 matches within like 20, so that on Monday morning, if I needed to, I could very quickly bang out the remaining matches, get that extra TA diff, and stay safe. I didn't end up needing that, so I popped that until after. But while I was doing that, while I was seriously tanking my, my score, I got to the point where I got demoted, I think twice. And at that point, they lowered down my win as well. So my win went from Arena 5 to Arena 4. So you want to D-rank too much because then you will take yourself out of that Arena 5 prize pool. So don't do that. Instead, if you are going to D-rank, and you really should be if you're still playing this game and you want the good stuff, you pretty much have to D-rank. You don't want to go too far. Now, the problem with that is everybody is doing it. So everybody is D-ranking. So at some point when you're trying to get your 5-win streak, you could run against someone who is a much higher level than you, who's also D-ranking and who's also trying to get their 5-win streak. And then, so sorry, you're not going to get your 5-win streak. You may get stopped at 1. You may get stopped at 2.
Had someone do that to me, and I had a 4-win streak, and on the 5th one, it's like, all right, just need one more person trying to D-rank. But no, I had someone that was probably 3 or 4 levels higher than me, and I just got bulldozed. He just wiped the floor at me and ruined my win streak.
Can I ask you a quick question, Nate,
Sure.
just to put this into perspective?
Sure.
So for those of you listening who have either not played Gears Pop at all
what is
or
wrong
have only
with you?
played very little,
Me. Oh, wait.
Gears Pop ranking is based on the number of cogs you've earned.
Yes.
So generally you earn about 30 cogs for a win, and you'll lose about 10 for a loss. And there are certain things that will change that amount.
Mm-hmm.
Now, myself, the highest I've gotten up to is about 1,500, and the most I've deranked down to is about 1,330 or 1,350.
Mm-hmm.
What has that high and low been for you when you're talking about these numbers about how far you'd be
I
ranked?
think my highest was 1680 or so. Let me pull that up. And then my lowest, so when I got really aggressive with the deranking, I think I got down to like 11 or 1,200.
Okay.
It was just so painful to lose at that point because people are just, they're not very skilled at that level. So you're kind of like,
God, it's the worst.
You're like, hey, attack me over on this side. And then, they would, and then you just be like, okay, now I'm just going to play dead. And then, cause they think that if you're not dropping pins, that, you're obviously going to drop a ton of pins on me all at once. So I would just start, I eventually built decks where I just have grenades and barriers and other kind of useless, defenses as an offense. And so I was just throwing those. And then when people were coming, I would obviously throw my ink grenade the opposite side and, oh, I missed. And, oh no. And so.
Those people are the worst. It takes 3 effing minutes to kill someone that's just sitting there.
Well,
Drives
I
me
think
nuts.
I feel like they're also, it's just a game of chicken. Like, they don't want to win either.
I have run into none of these magical derankers who don't do anything to you. So my experience with Gears of War, or Gears Pop, has been pretty much like this. I joke around in the Discord channel about filthy derankers, but the reality is if you want to play this game competitively at all, that is what you have to do.
Yeah, you pretty much do.
Unless you want to spend lots and lots and lots of money. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to my buddy, I think this weekend, the next UFC. He's a big Clash Royale player, so I'm just going to be kind of jawing with him and being like, kind of comparing and contrasting and being like, well, is it like this? And so we'll finally have something to talk about that isn't UFC like the UFC. Because all he wants to talk about is Clash Royale. And I'm like, nah, man, I rage quit. I'm done. But so it looks like my highest tags was 1681. I'm currently sitting at 1509. I probably need to rank down a little bit before I go for my next win streak. As far as how much I've been playing, not as much. Like that first week, I was playing a lot, obviously, the first couple days. Now I'm kind of like, it's a chore to go in there and get my 5 or get my 4. So I'm probably doing about, I would say 8 gear packs a day. And maybe I'm getting a win streak or 2 throughout the day. So I've severely cut it back. What about you guys? Are you playing differently than you were in the first week? Are you playing more L than you were in the first week?
Wait. I have an important question first.
Oh, okay.
Who's in the main event of UFC coming up?
Who's in the main event? Okay, so
I want to see if you could pronounce it.
Yes, it's Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yes.
Versus Dustin Poirier.
Wasn't Khabib that one that had a hissy fit or did something like?
Yes, he did something.
That sounds
You
familiar.
are correct.
The thing with Connor?
Yes, he and Connor had a big kerfuffle. They're apparently still not friends.
Oh.
Yeah. Still not friends, so.
Do you think he plays Clash Royale?
I'm going to say no. I think all he does is wrestle bears.
Okay. Yeah, I have been trying to play, and I get slaughtered every single time. I probably need someone to show me some basic strategies.
So,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know how Nate plays specific, but for me, I just rush one side. Like, I know there's a lot of people that,
What does the other person do?
Once their outpost starts to be getting destroyed, to dump some troops down in defense. I play this is very risky, but I usually just let you go on one side. I'm like, whatever, I'll let, hopefully my outposts and whatnot can kill them, and I don't have to play defense. And I just, when you put all your pins on one side, I go to the other side. And I just rush and hope I win before you win.
I was going to say, aren't you both doing the same thing then?
I just hope that my pins are better than theirs, which when you were talking about, Nate, that you're up to 1,600, and I forget how high you said you've been up to, Michelle. My highest cog total is 1189. I've never gotten to Arena 5. Whenever I get right to that spot where it's just like, okay, my next win's going to put me in Arena 5, I start to D-rank. So as of right now, I'm actually 847 cogs. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want the Arena 5 chest yet. I just want to keep getting pins to level up the characters I have now instead of trying, adding 6
more to the pool.
Yeah, adding
Right.
6 or 7 more to the pool. So the units that I'm using are just super strong, which helps me run over a lot of the competition.
Yeah, but you're missing out on some of the Arena 5. Actually, there's not too much Arena 5 that's that great. Arena 4 does have the best stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was looking at the Arena 5, I forget what was all in there at this point. It was the kind of thing, it's just like, I think there's like one thing in there, it's just like, man, I wish I could get that. But for the most part, I have JD, I've got Clayton, I've got, what I just unlocked, Dominic, I think his name was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dom.
Yeah, so it's like, I got Reyna, I got the Hammer of Dawn. So it's like, I have all the big important ones. I just don't see that need to go to the Arena 5 just yet. I'd rather level up the ones I have now. Right, especially since there is that achievement to level a pin completely up.
Well, also remember, 5 is going to get you 5 and below. So it's going to get you 5, N4, N3, N2, N1. And these, let's just say you're getting the small chest, right? The small Arena 5 chest is going to get you 19 common and 1 rare. The Arena 4 small chest is going to get you 16 common and 1 rare. So, and those are going to jump up. So if you go to like the large golden on Arena 4, you're getting 70 common, 14 rare, 2 epic. And then if you go up to Arena 5, then you're getting 81 common, 16 rare, and 2. So it might be worth it for you to go up to 5. You just dip your toe into 5, right? Get that ability to get the 5 chests, then drop back down into 4. Because you will, as long as you're still in 4 and not dropping down to 3, you'll still get the Arena 5 chest, even though it's a Arena 4 win. That you will get that. But once you drop down to Arena 3, boom, you're only getting like the Arena 4 wins. So
yeah, see, that's I didn't think about getting all those extra pins and all those extra coins.
I mean,
I was just trying to think of not trying to dilute the pool and just trying to get the pins that I need.
Sure, but you're actually getting more pins total by going up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that might help you.
So I don't play too many phone games. Like I haven't played Clash or any of that stuff.
Missing out.
It's not really my thing, but I am fine with games that are time gated, and I'm even fine with games that are pay gated to a degree. But what makes a game like this very, very difficult is that it's very much it's not balanced well. I found myself in a situation today, right, where I was deranking a little bit because I wanted to try to win. I want to get at least 2 wins so I can get the Thumper to do horde battles with. So I deranked just a little bit. The first 2 matches I have, I slaughter the guys. So it's not fun because they're not playing. They're playing. But I can tell by their hit points and their turrets' hit points that they are legitimately coming up through the 1300s. They're not deranking down. And then my third match, I get absolutely slaughtered by somebody who's putting out like level 12 Deadeyes and things like that. Like, this is someone who's clearly, none of those games was actually fun. Every one of them was bad in a different way. And I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if maybe just having a queue of bot teams that are better balanced for your actual ability to play is the way to do it. But since once you hit a certain point, all you're going to be running into really are either people who are struggling to come up, who you will slaughter because you've already deranked, or derankers who are much higher than you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how much longer this game is going to hold me, to be honest. Like, I have more than half the achievements. That's usually my go-to. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that is one of the problems with the game, where it's really difficult to, find that balance of how exactly do we do this.
Well, I mean, it is week 2. So who knows what's going to happen. I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, the difficulty at the higher ranks is going down. Mm-hmm. So the user base is bringing up how far you can go. They say rising tide raises all ships. The more people in there, more people getting pins means that those lower skilled players are getting higher and higher. And so you can actually get to higher and higher arenas by beating them. Like before, I was having a lot of difficulty in Arena 5, like around 13 to 15, and I was just getting knocked back down. But then I made it all the way up to 16, and I was like, feeling like I could maybe get to silver with an honest push to get there. I still don't feel like doing that just yet. But I feel like as time goes on, once again, this is week 2, it's going to be more and more possible to get into the higher arenas. So if you just want to kind of sit back, play it, play it here and there, and just keep, getting your, building your pin base and getting all that stuff, getting lots of money, so that you can do all the upgrades. It's definitely going to be a grind, but I mean, I'm still having fun with it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
I don't feel, though, that when it hits that point where it'll be more fun to play, it will be because the developers actively did anything to change it. It's just going to be because the wallet warriors or whatever, the early people kind of fell off and got bored of it, and the player pool will have balanced out.
I still get a lot of enjoyment out of beating people that are a higher health pool than me that are actually trying. Like, I can tell... I can tell that my strategy is better than their strategy. Like, my understanding of the units is better than their understanding of the units. Like, they've got a grenade unit out. I'm not going to send a weak crew against them. I'm not going to send wretches. I'm not going to send shepherds. I'm not going to send anything else that's going to get decimated in one hit, because then my energy was for nothing, right? My 3 or my 4 or whatever is just completely gone. I should have saved that up for a single unit, like a Marcus or a Dom or... Clayton? Carmine?
Clayton.
Carmine.
So, so getting the, Cletus, so getting all those guys to march up the field and take a little bit more hits. One of the things I am having trouble with is countering the cedar, when they put it in a good position where it can hit my bases.
And grenade.
Once again, with if you have an ink grenade, but that's still going to take time. What you can do is drop down a high health unit, and hopefully that gets the sieger's attention. If you drop it far enough forward, it will hit like the nearest target. So you can have it hit that high health and keep it away from your tower. So I'm just going to drop a Dom in the middle of the field so that the cedar starts hitting him instead of hitting either of my my base units. And then I can drop an ink on them, or I can drop someone else, a Reyna or something, to run up and just kind of pound on the cedar while it's trying to hit the first unit that it latched onto, because once again, it will continue to attack that until it's dead, and then it'll move on to the next target. So a lot of this is, distracting units with a unit that they can't destroy well while your other units are taking them down. So there's a lot of strategy to it, and
it's
unfortunately that strategy. Unfortunately, that strategy is dictated by what you're given. So you don't get to put together the deck you want. You put together the deck that you have been given, and you figure out a strategy that works for that. Now, the problem with that is you're going to progress to a certain point where your deck no longer is viable, or you're going to get a new pin, and you have to figure out how to slot that into your strategy. And that's kind of the fun thing about this game, right? It's like figuring out that strategy. Okay, well, how do I do it with this deck? How do I do it with that deck? It was actually kind of fun going in and trying to beat people with my deranking deck. Like, where I just got so tired, I was just like, all right, screw it. I'm going to kill these guys. And so with my deranking deck, trying to find a way to take them down. Or you let them grab one tower, and then for the rest of the match, it's okay. I'm going to stop you from getting anything else.
That's the best.
Because I'm going to be scoring pin kills, and I'm going to be scoring energy spent, and I'm going to be scoring, these other like really grindy achievements. So that's where I've been finding the fun. But yeah, I'm definitely, I don't know, a quarter to a third of the playtime that I've been doing before, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing where the strategies really come into play, and you do have to think on your feet because your starting pins are always different. And it's like in a perfect world, I start with Marcus and Old Man Marcus. That doesn't always happen. So it's like you got to kind of see what your opponent starts with, see what you start with, and then kind of go from there and just have a generalized plan of of attack, and then go see what happens on the field.
All right, well, we've talked a lot of Gears board these last 2 weeks.
It's so
think they're going to have pumpkin heads for Halloween?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so they did add a new Horde event, right? That was kind of cool.
Big Butcher.
No, it didn't take too long to figure that out.
Do a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. Do a lot of damage, and finally, Decoy is actually pretty good. So those are fun. So if they keep doing those every now and then, that'll add a little bit of life. But honestly, we've been figuring it out so quickly in the crew that it's kind of a joke. Like, well, for the people that have good decks, it's been easy to figure out. So
and being a strategy game, it is absolutely the kind of thing where you just have to play and kind of figure it out as you go. Like, we can sit here and tell you, do this, or do that, or use this deck, but until you actually play it yourself and learn the game, you can only do so much.
Yeah, and you're going to lose. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to lose. Like, you're going to be doing great. You're going to be higher than you've normally been, and you're just going to get pounded. Like 7 in a row, you're just going to be on a skid. And then just, you'll come back. I've kind of yo-yoed, up and down, and my highest is 1680. I didn't even realize I was getting there. Once again, I think that's because the player base has grown, or the whales are gone, or they're way off in the stratosphere that I have yet to reach. So it's just been easier to get back to where I was and farther without too much difficulty. So,
and one advantage, Nate, you and I kind of have over other people is we played Clash Royale. Granted, it is a different game, but it's also similar enough to where it's like that experience from Clash Royale carries over. And it's just like, okay, well, this is it. I understand the mechanics, so I just do this. It's just now there's cover.
Yeah. And cover keeps them from attacking you faster because they have to place farther back and those sorts of things, and ways that you can interrupt the cover. And there's some strategy.
Really good mobile game. If you haven't tried it, by all means, just download it and check it out. Comes to the Discord. That is still our most popular room in the entire Discord. There's so much talk going on in there. Let's get off of Gears Pop. We've talked a lot about Gears Pop. The one thing I do want to know is, Michelle, have you put any money into Gears Pop? And if you haven't, are you going to get anything on sale this week?
I did wind up buying the that initial $5 welcome pack, but that's really it. I didn't get too much else other than that. So, that said, what am I getting this week?
Anything good?
Well, no, you didn't say that. You asked did you say if I was getting anything good?
Well, I did. I left out the good before. I added it just now.
Okay. Excellent. So no, and I'm done.
All right then.
But I did see 3 games that it looked interesting for different reasons. First one was 1111 Memories Retold. This game is normally $29.99, but is now marked down to $8.99. Base score is 1,000 gamer score. It's worth 1550 TA, and it's about an 8 to 10 hour completion. I don't know much about the game, but I know it's not common to see a bunch of these sale games where the average TA score is over 4 out of 5. So that's encouraging. It's based in World War I. It's supposed to be a very thoughtful story, and it's not predictable.
That's nice.
That just looks interesting from hey, this might actually be a good game on decent sale. But enough of that. The other game that I was looking at was a bundle, Your Toy Undying Reborn.
Oof.
These are normally $14.99 down to $4.99. They're both low ratio. They're both sub-hour 1000s. Not good for GTASCTT, but good if you wanted to bolster your gamer score, I suppose. I don't know much about Dying Reborn, but I've heard your toy is terrible.
Real quick with your toy, follow a guide. If you're one of these people that don't follow guides, take my advice. Please follow a guide, because there are a couple of achievements that are glitched, and they're missable if you mess it up. You have to go through an entire process of deleting every save you have off of every possible server on the planet and in the cloud and in the framework and anywhere that a save could possibly be before you can try to unlock it again. You can't just delete your save on your console and start back up. You're going to want to follow a guide for your toy if you want to get that completion.
All right, everyone be warned. And then the other game that I looked at really briefly, because I look at it every single time it's on sale, is Monopoly Plus.
I'll just buy it.
It's down to $4.49 from $14.99. It's a 1 to 2 hour completion, 1268 TA. The other Monopoly games I've played for gamer score have always been good sort of mind-numbing, time-waster kind of games to do in between things. But there's just so much on my plate at the moment with games that are unfinished. Gears 5 is coming out right around the corner, so these probably will not actually make it... Right, these probably actually will not make it out of the tabs and into the cart, but these are the ones that caught my eye from this week.
All right.
Shiny.
Shiny.
That was on sale last week, I think.
Yes.
Okay,
well, I'll go next. I'll go next.
Okay.
I have a question. Correct me if I am wrong. This is the first time Telltales have gone back on sale since their unfortunate demise. Because that was what stuck out to me this week. I'm going to say yes.
I feel like they've been on sale.
I don't care what you say. I'm going to say yes.
Well,
now, I feel like
yes. Then. I feel like they have been,
surprised.
But I couldn't say for sure.
I thought they were on sale just before the apparent, it's going to get pulled from your history thing. And now that licenses seem to have settled back out again, this is the first time they've been on sale, but that could also be incorrect.
That sounds right. I don't know, though.
Yeah, so it looks like the Batman games are on sale, the Walking Dead games are on sale, and Wolf Among Us for Win 10.
I think Michonne is on sale, too. I looked at that for a second because I haven't played that yet.
I said the Walking Dead games, Michelle. That encompasses that.
Is it base? Or
Unless you just wanted to say Michonne to show someone else how it's really pronounced.
Maybe.
Is it the entire season as well, or just base?
It's the entire season.
It looks like they're just trying to get some more sales.
I didn't see too many real easy 1Ks in the list. But who cares? Gears is coming out. And for those crazy people who like it, Borderlands 3 is coming out.
Yay!
How do you manage that if you like both? It's interesting.
That would be wonderful if Borderlands 3 came to Game Pass.
Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, Kenny?
Is that coming to Game Pass?
Yeah, totally. All Square games come right to Game Pass. You know
Heck yeah, I'm in.
I lied.
I'm in no matter what. I will probably be picking that up when it goes
on sale. All right,
sales.
Nate, go.
Right. So there's a couple things I've been looking at. Adam's Adventure Origins is a point and click. It is $3 down from $30, which is crazy. Just a 1,000 gamer score with a 1,117 TA. It is 4 to 5 hours. There are no unachievable achievements, which is something I thought I heard about for this game. But yeah, I say that looks like a good deal to me. Sonic the Fighters, it is backwards compatible. Yes. It is $2.50 down from $5. It's only 400 gamer score, but once again, it is backwards compatible. For 407 TA, it's a 1 hour completion, and that seems about right.
Easy, crappy fighter game.
I think I had a little trouble with one of the achievements. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it was still under an hour. So even if you do have a little bit of a problem, it's not so bad. When Bomber Crew came out for Game Pass, I tried it out. Maybe I'm regretting that a little bit, but the game is now $5 down from $15. It's 1,000 gamer score with a 3,263 TA thanks to the Game Pass bump. It is 15 to 20 hours. At some point, this is probably going to go out of Game Pass. So if you've already started it like I have, this might be a good way to keep that completion and not be so worried about when they delist it. From Game Pass, sorry. When they remove it from Game Pass, not when they delist the game. Although that might also happen. Aaliyah. This is a $3.24 game down from $13. It is an E game. So it's a game that starts with the letter E, and we have 2 of those required for Freamwhole this month. I know a lot of people are worried about E games. This is a it's 1,000 gamer score with a 1,408 TA total. It's 2 to 3 hours. It is in the adventure genre, and there is a walkthrough.
Go buy it, Michelle.
I'm thinking this is checking all the boxes. So if you need an E, this might be for you.
Go get it.
Opens tab.
ELEA. Good.
Yeah.
It says it's episode 1, right? Like,
yeah.
So does
is there an episode
Hilbert and Opera.
2?
I don't believe that there is.
Right. That's
I don't believe there is an episode 2. I don't even know if an episode 2 is going to happen. But at some point, I guess it's going to be as cheap as. So.
History of the World, Part 1.
But if you're struggling for an E and you don't care about completions, why not?
You know,
You can complete it.
I just had the thought that now that we all have Game Pass, this is going to make gamer tag challenges way easier now. And then I bring up the list, and I'm looking through it. There's only one E game on here. So.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
It is Everspace.
What?
Now, if you haven't played this at all, it's actually incredibly easy to dive, because all you have to do is die, which is actually the only achievement I have in it. So I can't really tell you too much about it other than it's like a space shooter game. Like I don't know. Look at pictures, and that's about all I can tell you.
How is Game Pass for games starting in X? That's next month's challenge. We have E and X in there.
Let's see, X.
And lots of p-p-ps.
So it's not so good for X. There's none.
All right.
So there we go.
That's why you pick up X-Men Wolverine, like I've been saying over and over. Do it.
I haven't heard you mention it.
Really? I might have to send you a
But it's no
podcast.
longer available.
The first achievement in Aaliyah is to sit on the main menu for 18 minutes.
There you go.
Sweet.
Are you for real? That's an achievement?
That is, yeah. If you look at the
I
walkthrough,
just saw that, yeah.
It's the first thing they tell you to do on the walkthrough. So,
18. That's a
go get a cup of coffee.
odd number to...
It's Ellie arbitrary. Yeah.
God, it's so bad. So...
What?
Segway.
Oh.
Well, Nate, is there any good games on Summer Spotlight?
Well, I don't know about good games, but games. Let's go with games because there's too many
games.
There's too many to
games?
play or try or review. So let's just run through them. Keep in mind, this is the Summer Spotlight sale. There is a deal where if you spend $40 or more, you get $4 back. It's amazing.
Rewards.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put it that way.
Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry. But yeah, so if you're going to be spending the
4,000
points. Sorry.
Sounds much better.
Many more zeros. Keep in mind, this sale and offer ends on September 9th. So not a whole lot more time, but these guys keep adding games. So they're going to probably be adding games up to the end. The new Summer Spotlight games we have since the last time we talked are Sudden Strike 4 Complete Collection. No idea. Truck Racing Championship. I believe you race trucks in this game. Street Outlaws The List. Here's a fun one. Code Vein Trial Edition. It's free.
Oh,
and
well, in that case.
Sweet.
It's a trial, and it's part of the Summer Spotlight. So, okay. Blair Witch, which I'm hearing a lot of people seem to like this. So,
A lot of hype.
I think Sasha already completed it.
Yeah, I think it's not that bad. I've seen multiple completions, I think, on my my feed.
Who'd you say completed?
Sasha?
Oh, Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha.
Wow.
I think he was the 10th one to complete it.
Okay, then.
Risk of Rain 1 and 2 bundle. This actually looks interesting to me. The first game is a roguelite kind of platformer action, and the Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelite shooter. So I don't understand how that works, but I'm very interested. I don't know if I'm $34 interested. I think that's how much it is. And also, the second one is a co-op game, so you kind of want to have someone else go in on that. Newt one is a game. Apparently, this looks like maybe a shorter one, but unfortunately, there are no times listed for these new games yet on TA. Decay of Logos, Sabara City, the Dark Anthology, Man of Medan, or Medan, however you pronounce that.
It is man.
Madame.
Once again, it's man.
I've been hearing pretty good things about this game, but not from anyone that I personally know. Agent A puzzle in disguise. This looks fun. It has puzzle in the title.
Yeah, but it's not a puzzle game on TA.
Wait, what?
No, not yet. Well,
It will
you need
be,
to
it will
play
be.
it so that you can tell them
exactly.
otherwise.
Exactly. I got all excited when I looked at this list. I'm like, it says puzzle in the title.
I mean, it looks like
Puzzle.
Yeah, it looks like a point-and-click type puzzler, like a Professor Layton's or something similar. But I haven't looked too much. I just know it looks interesting, and I think you might think so as well. Legend of the Skyfish. I can't believe we're still going. There are more games. This is a Ratalaika game. It's the newest Ratalaika, I think. Legend
Nice.
of Skyfish. There's Whipsy and the Lost Atlas. This game looks kind of interesting. I think action platformer. I don't know. Vambrace, Cold Soul. Too many games to look at. I think I've seen the cover. It's blue. Human Fall Flat. There's a new level. I don't think you have to pay for this. I believe it's just a new level. Hookbots, Headspun, and Crayola Scoot. While not a new game, it has a new price. And I just fired this up because it was on my RTDL. And yeah, I think I might have gotten myself in trouble here. It doesn't seem like it's hard, but it seems like I'm probably going to need to devote some time to the mechanics. That's it so far.
There's a lot of spotlight going on.
There's a lot of spotlights. I mean, it's hot up there on that stage. And as for Quick and Cheap, the only one that we know for sure is Legend of the Skyfish because Ratalaika. None of the other games have been completed by enough people or have given estimates by enough people. So can't really guess to those just yet. And there's probably going to be more. I'm really holding out for Torchlight 2. I really want that to be on the summer spotlight because then I'll at least get some money back for buying that game. But yeah, so that did release today, but it has not been put on the summer spotlight just yet.
Wow.
There's a lot of games in here that
There's
would
a
do
ton of games.
wonderful on Game Pass. Like, there's a bunch of games in here. It's just like, oh, I'd like to try that. Oh, I'd like to try that. But at the same time, I'm too cheap to buy them. And especially with the backlog.
List.
It's just,
The good news is there's so many games there. There's got to be something that if you have $40 burning a hole in your pocket, you can get 4,000 points for.
for sure.
If you really want to do it. So, I mean, there is definitely a lot. It's not like before where you had, 5 or 8 games total for the entire summer to choose from to get your however much back it was then. But yeah. So, and I'm sure there's going to be more this week. So, good times.
Nate, you made me feel really old just before.
Oh, did I now?
Yeah, you said September 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it's 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered 99.99.
Mm.
Do you know what came out on 99.99?
I think I know.
I know Michelle's going to know.
I know.
I know.
There's
I think I
two
know.
things, actually.
I think I know.
Go ahead, Kenny. Give a
Go
guess.
for it.
Was it the Genesis? No, not the Genesis. The Dreamcast. The Dreamcast. Was it the Dreamcast?
Dun, 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 dun.
I know it's a console because we've talked about this on the show way back. But I don't remember what it was. I just remember a console.
It is, in fact, the Sega Dreamcast.
Woo! Got it. First try.
I'm editing, so
the
no.
first part of that.
No. No, I'm editing. In fact, you're going to say the same thing over and over.
Was it the Genesis? No. Was it the Genesis? Oh, was it the Genesis?
It's a Sega console. Close enough.
What else came out?
And I don't know what the second thing was.
Michelle, do you know?
I know something that came out on 9/9/2009.
But
not another thing that came out in 1999.
Oh, well, it's a game I talked about earlier, having its 20th year anniversary and remastered game coming out.
Resident Evil.
God damn it, Kenny.
Oh, Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VIII, yes.
Oh. I actually didn't. Oh, okay, cool.
You know what game came out on September 9th, 2009?
Don't say Game Gear. Kenny doesn't know what that is. Don't say.
Atari Lynx. No.
The Nomad.
It was none
What
of
is
that.
it, Michelle?
It was the Beatles rock band.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And quite as the world is strange with how things happen at the same time, it's actually in the state of New York, this is a complete aside, you need to have a public librarian certificate to work at a public library. And that was actually the same day I got my public library certificate. So went and got Beatles Rock Band.
You went and became a librarian instead of playing Beatles Rock Band.
Oh, no, I just had to mail out $50 to get that.
That's simple enough.
Beatles Rock Band was a lot more work.
And a lot more money.
Well, I mean, other than the college degree and all that, but, you know.
So,
I got loans.
you've had this gamer
Fine.
pick for 10 years then, huh? If you look at it that way.
A little less, because this was for... So, for those of you who don't know, my 360 gamer pick for a long, long time has been George Harrison from the Beatles Rock Band.
That's what that is.
and
I still think it looks like a girl.
It does. A little bit.
That's what I think every time.
I don't recall 100%, but there are achievements in the game for hitting all the hammer-ons and pull-offs in specific songs, and I believe one set of them was 3 George Harrison songs, so you unlock that gamer pick for getting that achievement. And he's my favorite Beatle, so there it is. 10 years of George Harrison gamer
That's
pick.
what that picture
Almost.
is. Huh.
Yep.
Fun fact of the day.
That's crazy, though. Wow. 10 years.
See
This
what I
is time
did?
for a change, except
You
for
know,
no.
that's something that I kind of miss from the 360. Actually, I really miss from the 360 era. When you unlock achievements, you get something for it, not just
Gamer
a gamer
pick
score.
unlocked.
You got avatar items, gamer picks.
Yeah.
It's just
But I feel
kind of
like
neat.
I used to look at gamer picks a lot more in the 360.
Oh, for
day.
sure.
Like, if not for TA's friend feed, I wouldn't know what anyone's gamer pick is. That's literally the only reason I know at this point. Like, I don't really pay attention to that on the one in the same way. And I think it's because so many people just use their generic picks or their own specialized picks. So they're so specialized at this point that in some way it's not like associated in the same way. But they're definitely like, Stan has had the same Borat gamer pick for like 10 years. I can't,
That's what that is.
not think of Stan and not think of Borat at this point because it's so linked to him.
I'm
you remember
learning
what he
all
had before
kinds
that
of things
Borat
about
one,
gamer
Michelle?
picks.
What'd you say, Al?
Do you remember what he had before that Borat one?
No.
A different Borat one.
Of course.
Yeah, it was holding the one where he's holding up the flags, I believe. But then he switched to the one with Speedo.
Yeah, the Speedo one is definitely
Oh,
the one.
Stan.
The Avatar was never really all that big of a thing. Like, it never really, did anything. It was kind of neat to have. And it's like just nowhere on the one. It's just not really just present like it was on the 360.
I actually paid $1 to get the 5 different New York Rangers gamer picks.
Of course you did.
I did.
Right. Of course.
And I would switch them every so often.
Yeah, I've paid for the Avatar items before, like $1 here or $1 there for different things. And of course, now you can't do anything with them. They don't. I mean, you can put them on the 360. They don't really carry over to the one, but
That's one of those things that seem to have fallen off, right? Because a couple of years ago at E3, Microsoft was doing this whole thing about the avatars are going to be renewed and expanded and all this other stuff. Because for a little while, right, you'd get games like, I think it was Racketeer maybe, where you'd unlock Avatar Awards and there was that Fame Star thing they had going on where you can get points kind of like in a Uplay type deal where you can then spend them on gear. And then they just, I think what happened there was that Nintendo had some buzz going for it with the Miis. But Miis are very different because someone can create 100 of them on their own console and do the Mii parade and all this other stuff. Like, it was just a very different thing, but it was really successful in that pocket. So that was Microsoft trying to make their own version of it, and it just never hit the same way. You know what would make the Avatar come back, though? 1 versus 100.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I love that.
I thought there was talk about reviving that or something similar.
I remember going to PAX maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I want to say it was Planting maybe even went up and asked a question about that, but maybe he asked the Connect one. But somebody asked a question about, are we going to see another 1 versus 100? And the answer was, well, we're looking into something similar. And it's been the same answer since they discontinued 1 versus 100. We're not getting anything similar. That's just not in the game plan. But that would work to bring back that whole structure.
Yeah, I spent so many hours in that stupid game. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny when you're playing a 360 game and then, you haven't seen those in forever, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've got a new shirt. Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, sometimes that happens when you're playing backwards compatible games. Gamer pick unlocked. Yeah. What?
That was the thing.
And especially when you're unlocking gamer picks that you already unlocked on your 360. Like, I think on Splosion Man, I did something, and it's like, you unlocked a gamer pick because it's for something really basic at the beginning. I did where? Oh, wait, I've had it for 12 years now. Okay, it's fine.
Where do I even find that?
That was a thing, too, sometimes as like a pre-order giveaway. I think Alan Wake, if you got like the super special edition, you got an Alan Wake t-shirt for your avatar that could show people that you spent $80 on the bundle instead of, $60 on the disc or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was one. There was a couple of them that did that. And they did do something like that on the one when they brought back the avatars. Like, my avatar item on the one is Spyro the Dragon pops out. My avatar kind of plays with it. But I think you got that for playing the game in the first week. I think that's how that worked, where you could get it for free. Otherwise, like, now you can just buy it. But I play in the first week. I got the avatar item. And it's just like, oh, it's cool for that one time, maybe a month. I go look, I compare a game on the one with someone. I see it, but if it was on my dashboard, I'd see it more often, I might be more inclined to spend $1 and get a new item or something.
Yeah, I think my avatar item might be a Kinect, and it dances with you, and I see it about as often as I see my Kinect. So I suppose it's art imitating life.
But let's move on to let's keep it going.
I'm going to ask a trivia question to break up the monotony.
Okay, let's hold it.
I just learned something today.
What did Elle learn? Besides that, Michelle's gamer pick is from Rock Band Beatles.
Well, that one I actually knew.
Okay, just I learned that.
It's the one of the Beatles.
Leroy.
Dave Grohl.
Okay, I just learned something. What does Stikbold mean?
I have absolutely no idea.
I
swear I just read this the other day when I was looking it up.
And Dodgeball.
Wait, really?
So that makes the title of the game Dodgeball a Dodgeball Adventure. But see, you
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
It's the Danish word for dodgeball.
Waka should know that.
That changes everything. Cool. See?
So now I know what that game is about. That's good.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so
I struck gold with that joke. Wait.
Golden.
Golden. Yeah.
Games of Gold. So on September now, you can get Hitman until the 30th.
Sharpshooter.
September 16th through October 15th, you can get We Were Here.
Is that French?
We Were Here. Something like that.
Okay.
Starting now until September 15th, you can pick up yet another Earth Defense Force 2025. This one being the 2025, so we have them all except for the Japanese one.
Hey, that's an e-game, by the way.
Hey, there we go.
Well, we all have the entire series available to us at this
Yeah,
point.
that's true.
And they worked for Freamwhole this month. And the last game we have is Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I'm excited for this one. September 16th to September 30th, so I like that.
All
And
right.
along with that, if you have not picked up Forza Motorsport 6, yes. Yeah. If you have not picked that one up yet, then you have a few more days for that. Continuing on, let's get into some contests. pTart's annual birthday bash. Unfortunately, registration is now closed, so if you did not get registered, you suck. You're out. You can't get in. But
Wow. Harsh.
yeah, a little. But it's going on until next Sunday or Monday or something like that. Obviously, the idea is to score as much gamer score as possible. And there's a prize going out to the 1st, 8th, and 34th place because she's turning 29 or she was born on the 34th or some such dead joke like that.
Well, as we stand right now, I'm going to look.
Okay.
Inferno 118 is in first place with 25,980 gamer score.
Wait,
I guess,
wait.
and I
How
guess
much
in 2
gamer
days,
score?
25,000.
25,900, right? So closer to
26,000.
26,000.
Again, it's been 2 days.
How many Radalaikas are
Goodness.
there now?
Well,
Someone wants to
I'd
win.
like to know what they're playing.
Radalaikas, ACAs,
Yeah.
any number of other easy 1Ks that come out these days.
Second place is Homeless Messiah
Makes sense.
with 19,000. Redemption Denied in third place with the lowly 10,000.
Whoa,
What the crap?
that's a gap.
I saw Mr. Rocker Dude going crazy with, I think he played 4 rats. And right now, he's in 9th place. So I'm going to assume his strategy at this point is to try to finish 8th.
I
That's what I
think he
meant.
mentioned as much in the Discord. He
One of those?
initially he initially thought about going for the top score, and then when he saw what that would entail, he's kind of looking at that 8th place one.
Oh.
So I think that's actually something he's confessed
Don't give
to.
up, Rocker. You can do
And
it.
he's got almost 5,700 gamer score. In that 34th place, people are hovering at around 800 gamer score. Right now, it's currently Death Dealer's high. Blowing up your spot, girl. So good luck to everyone. And thank you to pTart for hosting such a lovely event. It is blank awesome.
Pretty?
Yay! You got it. Very good at trivia today, Kenny.
Yay. I did it.
You're like 1 out of 3.
On the first try.
First try. Just punch it. Anyone actually know about this challenge? I just kind of signed up.
I do, because I think I inadvertently might have inspired this challenge from a podcast we recorded many months ago. Probably episode 24 with Prue when we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And I was mentioning that I have one achievement left in 3 games. One was Gears of War 2, one was Lord of the Rings War in the North, and I forget offhand what the third game was. And none of them are particularly hard to complete. I just need to sit down and get them done. And my goal was for, at some point this year, to get those done. And wouldn't you know, it is now September and I still haven't gotten them done. And at some point in Discord, Chewie threatened to rip my arms off. And then I think he took that anger and decided instead to make a contest. And the point of the contest is to take your long dormant games that over a year is his threshold, and anything that you have 3 or less achievements left in. And if you get the completion, you get entered to win either for most completions of that nature or for the longest gap. So Bomber 37 completed a game that had like a 4,000 day gap. I don't, let me see if I can find it here. Give me one second. Okay, so Bomber 37 completed Sonic the Hedgehog Arcade. His previous last unlock was February 28th, 2008.
Wow.
And he just completed it about a week and a half ago for a 4,195 day gap between achievements. Right
Look,
now,
I'm on there, Michelle.
So he's got, you are on there. What game did you finished 3 games
Yeah.
that
Ooh.
qualified?
Yeah, you know who figured that out? Chewy.
Yep. Yeah, Chewy's really...
He's on top of this.
First of all, thank you so much, Chewy, for doing this, because this is totally something that he just... It was his own concept, and, you know, some people are saying, oh, this might have been a better tweak to it or not. Like, it's super, super awesome that he's doing this. This is obviously something that if people really like this or think this is a cool idea, we can certainly figure out ways in the future to maybe do something more formalized with it. But the fact that he's doing this is amazing. So thank you, and my arms feel much safer now.
So I had 3 games on there, with the most time elapsed being Plants vs. Zombies from February 17, 2015 to January 30th, 2019. And as I'm scrolling, I see a certain Tennessean whose name appears a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah. Elroy OMJ
Holy
is definitely
cow.
the leader so far at the number of games that have fit these qualifications. And I imagine it's because we've all heard the story about how Borderlands 1 broke completionist Elroy of being completionist Elroy, and then he became Gamerscore Hunter Elroy. And I think he must have just taken a lot of these games in 2016, 2017, and just gotten the, you know, Gentleman 720 and then let them go. But then when this challenge came up, he just went through and started completing them, I guess. Or not, no, it's not this challenge, because he completed a lot of these before the challenge was announced. One nice thing that Chewy is doing is he's accepting any game that you've completed this year that hits these parameters. So, for whatever reason, Elroy has gone back and completed a bunch of games that laid for a couple of years on his account, not complete back in April. So, he's definitely the leader insofar as number of games completed with these parameters.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting now I'm really looking at this.
Yeah, he went nuts in April, it looks like.
Yeah.
I remember him doing that.
I'm like looking at the list now. You know, Chewy messaged me and said, "Hey, you completed Harm's Way and Plants vs. Zombies. They qualify for this. Would you like to add them to the list?" I was, sure, why not? Of course, I want them added. Kind of funny, you know. I started both of these games. Or you know what? Nope. Never mind. Edit that all out. Never mind.
No, it actually is interesting. You started both of them in early 2011, and then finished them both within 4 days of each other in 2019.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what I thought. I started them in the same month and completed them in the same month in 2019. But yeah, it's like both of them have right around a 7 or 8 year gap. Huh.
But you probably have the highest average number of years between, or number of days between completions, because you only have those two, but there's a long gap for both of them.
Yeah, this is okay. Now I'm really looking at this list. It's actually
now you're really looking at this.
This is interesting. Now I'm actually really digging into this list.
So, all this said, before we get too sidetracked by digging into all this, thank you again to Chewy for doing this. Chewy is running this, so if you are interested in participating, tag him on Discord, message him, let him know so he can add you to the spreadsheet. He's doing an amazing job going through and finding these games for you, so you do not need to self-report. But if you know anything that you have done that fits this, let him know, because that'll certainly help cut down his workload. And if you have any questions, ask about it in the contests channel at Discord.
Which one of you are playing a game? I just heard that achievement unlock.
That was Prue logging online. His ears must be burning from us talking about him. So I almost always have my television on mute, but because I was playing LA Noire and I actually really wanted to hear it, I had my volume up, and then I wasn't home all weekend. So I got surprised by the volume being up too.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. We'll pretend like that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Timestamps, my friend. I have an outline.
Chewy also sent me a message for my games as well. So I haven't submitted anything. He found them for me. It was Onrush and Shred It. Shred It was a while back, too.
Oh, it's actually Onrush.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got to
more capital letters than I thought.
Good job getting that done before it left Game Pass, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was tough.
Didn't sound like you were going to get that done.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it was going to happen. I was also counting on them not removing it right away and having like a couple extra hours the next day too. But yeah, like I said, I got some help and I appreciate it.
And Michelle, you have the oldest starting game back in January of 2009 of Catan.
I have the second oldest because Bomber dethroned me, but I do have one in the chamber. I have one that's older than his oldest one, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see. I did mention this in Discord. Just keep in mind, TA runs all sorts of contests too. The negative nature of a contest like this is it's sort of one and done. Like, now that he's beaten Sonic Arcade, if that's the oldest game he has, that's the oldest game he has. He can't really manufacture an older one. So, I mean, I guess you can, but please don't be devious. Be delightful, like Waka.
And if you're going to use a time machine, there's better ways to use it.
Sports
if you're going back to
betting.
2008. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
didn't Back to the Future teach you anything?
Mm-hmm.
But
Butthead.
what was the point I was making now that you've distracted me?
Not be devious.
Oh, okay. Just be careful with that, because there may be other things coming up on True Achievements where you may have a similar task in front of you. So if you've got like 4 games that meet these parameters, you're not going to top Elroy OMJ anyway. Maybe pick the oldest one and pick that off and see if you can, work toward that one. So just be mindful. I don't want anyone to get locked out of anything on another contest because of the nature of this one. So just be mindful as you're going for your completions, but let Chewy know if you want to be involved.
All right, next contest we should get to, and I'll let Michelle take this away because there is some changes into it, is the RTDL Roundup. Some changes on the team side of it.
Well, I'm actually going to, because I'm probably going to be talking a lot about stuff later. Oh, no, I guess Kush is going to cover Gamer Tag Challenge,
Yes.
right?
I'm going to try.
I just don't want to monologue too much. How about this? I will talk about some of the changes coming up, but Elle, why don't you tell us about the full combos that were earned in that crazy last week of RTDL gameplay?
Or Elle, why don't you do that?
I think I should do it.
I think you should do it.
Sweet.
We got a couple of full combos.
Kenny. You had to get that TM in there, didn't you?
Yes.
All right. Shabooble bobble booble bibble bibble bibbly bibbly bobbly boo.
Some things never get old.
To go back to Mary Poppins from last week. Elroy OMJ.
Love that guy.
Matriarch. She's okay. Metism.
It's the worst catchphrase.
I'm totally adopting it now, though.
Mediocre Matarachi. And me. On the last day.
Me now.
Finishing off with my lovely Harry Potter Connect achievement. That was fun. And
Doesn't sound it.
we had the top 10 full combos, which was a first and looked really awesome and was all red and shiny. I was in the top 10. I mean, I had a full combo and was not in the top 10.
Rip.
Which sucked. But low point total. What can you do?
And didn't someone, maybe Pluto, had a full combo but was like 18th or 19th?
What?
I think he had a 24.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I think there was...
Oh, he had 24.
Oh, he had a 24. Okay.
I think he had
but
a
still
keeper.
was very... Yeah, it's...
That's
I
crazy.
thought actually things had slowed down pretty significantly in this past month, but it just seemed like people were playing it differently. Maybe they had longer achievements. I know people were away or had other things going on, but it...
More people were playing Possum.
People did really
People playing
awesome.
Possum.
And then
I
I
like that name.
think Mario Party had finished with something like 148 out of 150 possible achievements, or 145 out of 150 possible achievements for the team.
We did okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's... Why didn't you get a full
Yeah,
combo?
Nate. Why didn't you get a full
Why didn't I
combo?
get a full
Yeah.
combo?
Neat.
Because there were 2 that I missed.
Oh.
Oh,
That's how
that
math
makes
works.
sense.
Well, that's a fair answer. Okay. All right, well, we'll
That's
move
called a
on then.
LeBron. Oh.
So we also had in this month our first dip into free agency. So we introduced free agency as a way to limit the team sizes some, but allow others to still be involved. We found during the test month, while that was fun, there were people who were playing just to participate, which is awesome, and we want to encourage that. But the solo side is good for that. And it was creating a situation where there were teams that had 7 competitive people and 1 not so competitive, and other teams that had 5 competitive people and 3 who were less so. So we shrunk the team sizes to make it more competitive across the board, but also introduced the idea of free agency so other people can come on as people either got tired from the sprint or whatever else might happen. So in the first month, there were no free agents taken. Teams stayed together. But this month, 4 out of the 5 teams did take a free agent. So very quickly, just want to thank Hatton90, Toadstyle Venom, or as most of us know him, Stan, or now Borat, Professor Pluto, and Chin for participating in the first 2 months of the team competition and helping out their teams, and certainly giving feedback that we will use as we continue to tweak the team competition. And now we've added 4 new people who mostly participated in the test month, but not all. So Jay Black has joined a team, pTart has joined a team, Thomas the Tominator has joined a team, and Daniel JJ. So they're all on board, and thank you all for participating. We didn't quite hammer out all the free agent rules, so we kind of did it in a very informal, like, just ask someone who you think might be interested, and if they're interested, they can come on board your team. This is something we will probably tweak in the future so that we make sure that the best free agents are available for the teams that have the most need. But that's something that, again, we'll figure that out as time goes on. That said, everyone seems to have settled nicely into their new teams. They're having a good time of it. I know pTart's put some on the board for us. I know Daniel pretty much is finished already.
He was in that Johnny Knoxville movie, and what's it called? Oh, The Ringer.
I love that movie.
I figured you would.
We get ice cream.
So this is going to be the last month of this quarter. After this month, we're going to take at least 1 month off of the team competition. I think most of the people that have been involved are looking forward to the break anyway. And of course, the solo side competition will continue as it always does, so people can still go and try to get the top of the leaderboard. We're not sure yet how long we'll take a break for, if we're just going to do it for the month, or with the fact that November and the Thanksgiving holidays for people in the States, and then December and, Christmas and whatnot are coming up after, that it might be a good time to just take a break until the new year. But we're going to figure this out. We're definitely going to speak to everyone who's been involved and people who've just been watching, get feedback, figure out what things we need to change and alter to make it more fun and more engaging for people. So definitely continue to give any feedback you have. Maybe we'll even do one of those Discord calls where people can come in, or a party chat where people can come in and really do sort of focus grouping on RTDL and what the future holds for the team competition.
Goodness, Kingsman has 21 unlocks already. It's September 3rd.
Yeah.
Preloader.
Well, I think he curated quite a bit to make sure he can... so that he can get the full combo. That's going to be the nature of this competition, although he usually goes for full combos. That's kind of his thing.
99% of
at least for... darn it! I took it!
Too easy.
Yeah, Fresh has 17, High Road has 18. Daggone.
Yeah, Fresh.
Yeah, High Road.
Phew.
Every month. And Fresh is another one, though. He learned how to properly curate and came up with a list finally where he's like, I can really get this stuff done.
Wow.
Yeah, so keep in mind, too, for everyone in the team competition, this is the last month to use any of your earned team rerolls. So if you earned earned full combos in previous months, remember you got 2 extra rerolls for your full combo if you didn't use any rerolls to get it, and you got 1 if you used a reroll or more. So your team pool is now 6 plus whatever that extra amount was, and you have to use them all this month because it's the last month. So definitely think about that when you're strategizing for how you're going to do. There's no reason to not use them liberally if there's something that you really feel you're not going to get, because they're all going to disappear anyway.
Yeah. Liberal.
All right, and let's get on to... Where are we at?
Gamertag challenge.
Yes.
Gamertag challenge.
Let's get on to the next challenge that we've been mentioning a whole lot with Freem. The Gamertag challenge.
Gamertag challenge is a contest where we pick a gamertag from the community, and everyone is tasked with getting an achievement in a game that begins with a letter from that gamertag. So you're going to be spelling out these gamertags with games. Last month was the first month that we've hosted this contest, and our initial gamertag was J Black. That being said, Em, do you have any stats for us?
I do have some stats for us. So just as a reminder, insofar as the scoring and how the scoring went for this past month, for every achievement you unlocked in the gamer tag for the month, you earned 1 point. And then if you completed the whole gamer tag, you got a bonus 10. So each one of those equates to an entry. So the max number of entries you can get in this month's drawing was 16. We had 24 people complete the gamer tag this month, so they got all 16 entries, and the total number of entries for the month is 411.
Wow.
So lots of potential opportunity there, but someone who only, and that's not including entries from me and Koosh, because we can't win. So even though we participated, I'm not sure why some other hosts didn't participate, other hosts who happen to be sitting on this panel right now, and maybe Rocker who's listening. You didn't.
We looked at the
fill
spreadsheet.
in the spreadsheet.
There's a spreadsheet? Oh, man. Darn it.
My dog ate my spreadsheet.
So please keep in mind as you're participating in Gamertag Challenge that we are not as nice as Chewy is, even though he will threaten to rip off your arms. Chewy actually will go and find this stuff for you. We will not. So if you do not self-report on your spreadsheet, we will not know whether or not you got the achievements. We do check to make sure that the achievements were unlocked within the month, but other than that, it's completely self-reporting. So if there's anyone who did participate and, I forgot to put in that last achievement, sorry, you didn't get credit for it. So please make sure to update the sheet. And we can always send out more reminders for people to do that.
Yeah, we'll typically give you 1 to 2 days after the month to get those in. Once again, they do need to be earned within the month in question, but you can enter them up to 2 or 3 days after. Basically, before we have that next show where we pick the winner. Mm-hmm. So,
and the cutoff is midnight UTC on the last day of the month. Correct? Okay.
That is correct.
So before we go into what we're going to expect next month, we're going to go ahead and do our prize drawing for this month's Gamertag Challenge. And the winner will receive a game in value of up to $10 of their choosing. Is that correct?
Yes.
More or less?
Yes.
All right. And 2 special thank yous aside before I do this drawing. First, thank you to Freamwhole, who again let us take this challenge and run with it in our way. And second, thank you to our patrons, who allow us to have the funding to run giveaways like this. We definitely appreciate your support of the podcast.
Without you, we couldn't do it.
All right. We ready? I'm going to generate a winner. And the winner is... Chip!
Yay, Chippy!
Good job, Chip.
So congratulations, Chip. Just message us in Discord. Let us know what game up to $10 in value you would like, and we will gift it to you.
Chip had all 16 entries, right?
He sure did.
Okay.
Look at that.
He sure did. And it was only one off from Eliflet, who had 1 entry.
Oh.
So,
just missed.
Almost a winner.
Almost a winner, and maybe if he had 2 entries,
Who's to say?
So, just food for thought. Food for thought.
So next month we are going to change up the scoring just a little bit. Our rules doc goes into great detail over substitutions of complex letters such as Z and W and other favorite letters of mine. We are getting rid of that because that's a lot of work. So instead we are just going, as Michelle mentioned, we're going with a point basis. Every letter you get is 1 entry. Now, if you skip a letter, that's on you. You can't get the bonus. If you get all the letters, guess what? You get 10 shiny extra bonus points.
Shiny.
And starting with this month, Freamwhole doesn't know it, but we're going to ask him to pick a game. And the game that he picks is going to give you 1 bonus letter. Or 1 bonus entry. If you happen to play that game and get an achievement, that is, you will get 1 bonus entry. If you don't have that game, well, I'm sorry. If you do have that game and you've completed it and there are no achievements you can earn, you get that bonus point for free for being a good gamer. So that is how the scoring is going on moving forward until we decide to change it next month, which we are absolutely doing because of Chip and his numerous P's. But more on that later.
So let's see how nice Frame
so-
decides
Chip
to
a
be.
moron?
Will he pick a Reddit like a game, or will he say, no, everyone
Can he
must
pick whatever he
Deadliners?
wants? Are there parameters?
He can pick whatever he wants. It just has to be a game with achievements.
And it's probably
Something
gonna have a zombie,
completable.
but
There, we'll have to say that.
What's that?
Oh no, it doesn't. Just 1 achievement needs to be got? Okay, never mind.
No, it doesn't have to be completable, but if it's a game that can no longer be completable because of server closures or whatever, and you do have the game on your tag, but it's just missing those permanently locked achievements, I think we're okay accepting that still for the 1 point, because there's nothing more you can do. I don't know. We might have to
we
hash
might
that
just tell
out.
him that was
But
a bad pick. So,
Right.
I mean, why is Freem
exactly.
a jerk?
So-
I don't know, but we're going to look out for you. So
How long do
I
you
bet
have?
you Freem's going to pick OXENFREE.
He might.
Freem.
You never know.
OXENFREE. Nice.
He does like synergy, so.
Well, anyway, we will talk to Freem and we will announce it officially in Discord and on the podcast. But you'll catch it in Discord first.
Really need to make sure we talk to him, considering he probably won't hear this until Christmas, which will be well past September.
Good point. Yeah, retroactively add those entries.
Wait,
Shivabot,
Kimbo.
remind me in 12 hours to talk to Freem. All right, well, let's get on to the G-Task roundup for the week. Can we skip this? I don't want to talk about this.
No, just rip that Band-Aid off.
You mean
Okay,
the part?
fine. We'll
Just do that part first.
okay, so
Start with individual eliminations. Go ahead.
for the eliminations, the team one team has been eliminated. Now as a team with who is this? David McSee, 1989 has been eliminated, and on the individual eliminations, Homer and myself has been eliminated on week freaking 9.
Oh,
So
womp
close.
womp.
That
No
Should
badge
just
for
gone
you.
out the first week.
I never rated at this rate. I should have spent the first week. I mean, in all honesty, it's the badge. I'm missing like all of them, so oh no, I'm not going to get that completion.
Now, I do believe it was mentioned in Discord by Chewy, I think, that there are now 138 people that are part of the All 8 Community Challenges badge club. And I think 14 are in the Discord.
Yeah, I think those were the numbers.
So that's pretty
Was it
impressive.
14 or 14%?
And I think,
I think it was 14%.
Or maybe it was 14%.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I think 3 of them are on
But
the
I want to
panel
read
right
the
now.
list.
Who are they? Fufu?
Fufu. Let me look carefully
Fufu
now.
and Fufu.
Double check that
Free
list.
Fufu.
I'm pretty sure I'm on it.
It's the meme from The Hangover where he's looking and all right, in alphabetical order, sort of. H-Dog 4, Big L, Buck Marley, Chewy, Chin, Crunchy Goblin, Danny JJJ, Freem Holicious, Hawkeye Barry, Jibrk, Kosh Moss, Mark B, if that is your real name, Matriarch, NBA Kirkland, a.k.a. Wanda's husband, Planting, Prusel, SB 7000 and what the? SB 7000616, Wakapeil, What the Fug, and Kronos.
Nice.
That's
Well, congratulations.
that's more than 14.
Well, we
That's
said
not
14%. So
Oh,
math gif.
I'm a top 1%er.
Yeah. Well, that's, 138 out of almost 400,000 registered people, right? So I don't know how many people total have earned at least one community badge for that to count, but it's impressive.
Not bad.
There's also a new bonus for this week. It's a team side
Does anybody
bonus.
even care anymore, though?
Yeah, some people want to win.
I suppose some people.
We're gonna win.
Let's pretend they
Sure.
do. Redemption usually plays until the very end. So for Redemption's ears only, there is a team side bonus this week that's for every member of the team getting an achievement that either has the number 3 or the word 3 in it.
Meh.
So everyone just has to pop one achievement. It does not have to be the same one, and that's a pretty easy bonus to pick up. Someone noted helpfully, I want to say Freem, maybe, and Ben B. Smittle, that ACA Neo Geo games sometimes will have high score 300,000 or something to that effect.
Oh, yeah.
That are
Three
easy to pick up.
wins.
So there's
Yeah.
3
Any
wins.
number of
Yeah, so
things.
there's a lot to pick from.
Yeah, that's simple. If you actually still care about the team side. Do any of you guys actually have any plans to try to stay in this thing? Or is it just last as long as your normal play keeps you in?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be normal play. I'm not going to be doing anything really. I mean, I'll use my bonuses, I guess, and see how far that gets me. I guess I need to have a discussion with my team to see where they are mentally with this as well. Because based on, if they want to keep going or not, that may affect my gameplay. But for me personally, I'm done. I got the badge, so I'm good.
I can tell you pretty much exactly how the rest of this is going to play out because it's played out this way every single year.
Oh boy.
We will go down not using any of our bonuses. I'll be pissed at Elle for about 12 hours and then I'll get over it. I will say we shouldn't sign up next year and then next year we'll come up and we'll sign up again. So please invite me on the week we get eliminated so I can yell at Elle on air.
Will do.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we're pretty much settled into playing casually at this point. Just if you earn bonuses, it's nice to be able to use them. So other than that, I think we're just going to go as long as it doesn't frustrate us to keep going, and that would be it.
Same here.
You think about the same?
Since I'm out of individual, it's just like, oh, does my team want to continue? Well, considering it's just been Saucy and I the entire time, our third decoy hasn't put up any points, really. Saucy's on vacation all this week. He's on a cruise, can't point points up, so screw it. I'm out next week. Don't care.
Get Waka to run you through Human Fall Flat.
I mean, if you would like to, I'm not going to say no to that. That's easy, TA. But no, when it comes to GTASC, I care even less now than I did when I started.
Use your bonuses.
I actually think we burned all of our bonuses Sunday night, where it's like, well, we're not going to continue, so let's just make sure we survive this week. I think we used like 6,000 bonuses on the team side.
All right, awesome.
All right.
Well, I think it's appropriate more than ever to say Homer hardly knew her, because Homer was eliminated from the individual side.
Didn't I say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yay. Yeah,
okay.
He said it very, very
He's trying
quickly.
He's trying to segue.
Well,
it's adorable.
My daughter wandered in before, and I got up. Okay, my bad.
From
Whoever...
You sort of made me doubt myself. I'm like, I could have sworn I said that.
Also, Homer
late.
has been eliminated.
You did.
Shit. Sorry, Koosh.
Oh, that's okay.
And
whoever the 2-hour mark, just have you know.
Whoever.
You know what will make Foo feel much better?
Wait, I want to read this.
Much
Foo
better.
come lately, poof. Who
That
wrote
was
that? That was great.
That is so
Is that
obnoxious.
you, Koosh?
That was me.
Nice. So
Okay.
good.
It's not. It's less obnoxious when it's not.
Okay.
Now.
So
That was too clever for me.
I know something that will make
What's
you feel
that?
better. And what would make you feel better is to spin the prize wheel and award a Patreon for our monthly
yay,
Patreon giveaway.
Patreon! Thank you for supporting us.
Just as a reminder, Death Dealers was our first ever Patreon drawing winner. So please get in touch with us so you can claim your prize for your win. And also just in terms of Patreon, again, as always, thank you so much for everything you do. It has been a month now, and thanks to your contributions to us, we were able to get Podbean squared away for the full year, so we're good insofar as our hosting. We are doing research on investing into better gear to make editing easier and quicker, so we don't have so many, sorry, we could have gotten this out by Thursday morning, but it's going to wait till Thursday evening. So we definitely have things in the pipe for
last week.
Are we going to get a new Kenny? Like clone him?
That's going to take months and months and months of saving, but we're working on it. So, but thank you, because the contributions you're giving to us are things we are actively putting back into the podcast, and we will make sure, at least in these monthly updates when we do the Patreon giveaway drawing, to let you know what we're working on and where we've allocated these funds to continue to help the podcast grow and improve.
Thanks, everybody.
Kenny, I've delayed as much as I can.
appreciate that.
Do you have a list of patrons?
Yes, I believe I do.
Who's number 6?
Number 6 from the random draw. That would be the one and only. Wait, is this right? I'm a little skeptical. It is Skeptical Mario.
Nice.
Wow.
Yay, Mario!
It's a him.
So, Mario, please get in touch with any of us. You have won a game of your choosing up to $20 in value. So let us know what you are interested in, and we'll make sure to gift that to you as soon as possible. And thank you again to our patrons for your support of the podcast.
Can we get him Left 4 Dead DLC? Never mind.
if that's what he asks for.
Oh, if he asks for DLC, oh my gosh. I almost want to give him more if he asks for DLC so he can get an actual completion. But
Hey, guess what, Kenny?
Oh.
What's that?
Oh, fire.
Proclamation point.
You didn't let me say take it away, but okay, fine. Go. Do it.
CarpeAdam has reached the century mark with 100 completions. Nicely done. Kingsman 2625 with 250 completions, as well as Eliphalet77, 250 completions as well.
In Achievements 1, we have Send Pipe has reached a new milestone of 4,000 achievements won. We have J Black with 10,500 achievements won. We have Keith 271179 with 12500 achievements won. Koosh Moose has reached a new milestone of 13,000 achievements won.
Yay.
Let's just pause. That's nice. Reforce with a 3 has reached a new milestone of 17,500 achievements won. And Elroy, OMJ,
Love that guy.
has reached a new milestone of 18,000 achievements won.
OMG.
I'm going to go ahead and play the role of Corey this week and let you know who's gone streaking.
We're streaking! Come on!
Fresh 336669 is currently on a 100-day achievement streak. Dunkos, Dunkin' Donuts, is currently on a 150-day achievement win streak. What the fug? He's currently on a 350-day achievement win streak. In just about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be congratulating him on 1 full year, 1 full trip around
Let's
the
see
sun.
if he can do it.
Of
Don't
1
mess it up.
achievement a day. Too much pressure now. And Death Dealers, our first ever Patreon winner, is currently on a 400-day achievement win
Nice.
streak.
All right. Since I totally didn't make this joke earlier, Homer, barely knew her, has 350,000 TA score. Chopin, 700,000 TA score. Michelle, 900K. And Mattism, 950K.
Mattism and I are like in pairs lately. We full comboed back to back. Now we're back to back on TA
Well,
score.
you know,
Are you the same
Matt,
person?
Eminem,
Yeah, Eminem.
Slim
It's
Shady.
going to be our RTDL duo's name when we launch that at some point in the never.
Don't lose
Go ahead.
yourself.
Oh man.
On for some leaderboard achievements. Philip Wendell is now in the top 10,000 of the Gamerscore leaderboard. Fufu Come Lately Poof is now in the top 5,000 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Tower Defense. Thanks, Gearspot. Chewy on Ice is now in the top 500 of the England True Achievement leaderboard. X the Hero is now number 1 in the Pennsylvania Gamerscore leaderboard for point and click.
Yay, XE.
That means you've had to
Sexy
play
XE.
point and click games, so I'm sorry about that.
And live in Pennsylvania. Sorry about that.
Wasn't that Sasha's leaderboard over in Pennsylvania for a long time? Now he's moved to like the other side of the country.
He's basically in Canada at this point.
That's okay.
pTart is now
Pretty.
second in Michigan Gamerscore leaderboard for collectible card games.
Don't say on a Thursday, Koosh.
No, I wouldn't.
Why would you say that? That's not that bad.
She's a lovely person.
On a Wednesday.
Never say that.
Can I say it?
No.
I'm going to edit it out, but go ahead.
Oh. On a Thursday. Don't go blue. So on Labor Day, after I got done visiting Calendar Man, I saw that I celebrated my 10-year anniversary on TrueAchievements.com.
Wow.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. So I guess that means a week before Beatles Rock Band came out, I signed up.
Clearly you were looking for gaming sessions.
Definitely.
for Beatles Rock Band.
And what?
Who owns drums?
Yeah, in all seriousness, TA, none of us would be here if it wasn't for True Achievements. I don't think a lot of us would have found each other. And I don't know if these podcasts would have existed. We talk about TA. We use TA.
Definitely not.
We love TA. And it has grown and it's still ticking.
And
But thank you to Rich and whatever Fufu says, don't listen.
well, I was going to say something about you.
Oh,
Nice.
uh-oh.
And what is that? Going on 7 years out of those 10 years you've been on a streak?
Yeah. I was streaking before TA acknowledged streaks.
Well,
So yes,
then.
they have grown.
Yeah, just go at some point in, what's it, like the Wayback Machine? The Internet Wayback Machine? And you can see what TA looked like 10 years ago. Back in the dark times when friend feed items didn't collapse.
Oh,
so if
right.
somebody popped 20 achievements in a game very quickly, it would just be your whole feed would just be those 20 achievements pretty much.
Yeah, but you know what?
Oh,
Back
that
in the
sounds
day,
horrible.
when people completed games, back in the day, people would actually get congratulated. That doesn't happen anymore.
Wait, so people actually use TA as like
Yeah,
a social media?
all the time.
Yeah.
All the
It was-
time.
It was different.
And there was only a light theme, so that's also terrible.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Or the
glad
best.
I came in when I did.
The best.
See, that's
Sorry,
also
Michelle,
probably
you're
why I
wrong.
don't care about the badges, because I don't use TA as a social media. I just use it's like, oh, there's this place where I can go get guides for whatever achievement.
You say that, but, well, I
You
stalk
have
you on
to
there.
admit one way or the other that TA changes the way you think about what you're playing.
That is true.
I don't know. I might play a Ratalaika anyway without true achievements because I do like gamer score, but it really makes me look at them through the lens of playing them just for the gamer score because of the low ratios, because they're so easy, because literally everyone playing them is not playing them casually. And TA has a lot to do with that. And also, we're all nerds in our own ways. The stat tracking and the things like that, like it changes the way that you play games. I think mostly for the better, because you're looking at things through a different scope. But that's been an important sort of molder in how we all approach what games we're playing.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
And we wouldn't have the contests that we have. I mean, if we didn't have the tool to search and get the statistics and all that stuff, we wouldn't have these contests either. So, yeah, everything is kind of built upon that, at least from my experience. So, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, prior to True Achievements, I'm sorry to cut you off, Kenny, but prior to that, most people used Xbox achievements, and it did have some kind of rudimentary things, but it was manual. If you completed a game or wherever you're up to a game, you had to add it to your collection and then manually add whatever achievements you had. And the fact that it's all automated on TA, and if you want to make a game session, although Elle, as he's told the story before, met Stan through a message board post on Xbox achievements for WWE help. But you used to have to make a forum post and, hope somebody will respond. Now you put a calendar invite pretty much up and whoever wants to join can join you. So it's really, in a lot of ways, revolutionized how we go about our achievement hunting and meeting like-minded people to get this stuff done.
How many of us request an update just as soon as we get every achievement? Just me? Good.
I wouldn't say every,
lot.
but if there's a competition on the horizon and things like that. I definitely refreshed right before I came online for the podcast today so I could hit my milestone.
If I'm doing a guide, I hit the request update and then refresh the page just in case because I don't want to miss something.
You want to see your achievements turn green, right?
I do. I want to see them green so I remember where I am in the guide.
It's true.
Absolutely.
And it's great for GTASC to make sure the points you have scored actually
Yes.
get counted. But
Wow. 10 years.
You're old.
Well, here's to another 10. Hopefully the 360 servers will still be up. And, yeah.
Well,
Good times.
that's been a long show, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we meandered
All right, let's
quite
take
a
a
bit.
community
This
question.
is what happens when Corey's not here.
If you could change something about one of your... No, okay, go ahead.
Well,
That'll about do it for us.
that it will.
Kenny, finish it. Kenny,
If you
end it.
guys enjoyed
If
the
please
show,
like and review us.
Kenny, go.
Well, I was just getting you started. I was kickstarting you. Go for it.
Kickstarter. We're not on
Did you
Kickstarter.
throw-
We're on
Sorry.
Patreon. Get it right.
Go fund me.
he just Patreoned you?
Yeah. Please like and review us on your platform of choice. Be sure to smash that subscribe button on whatever platform that you are following us on, or follow us on them all. If you want to send us a Twitter tweet, you can do so by sending us one on the Twitter at Achievements101. Be sure to follow us on Mixer at AH101. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have not, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our link right now is ugly. It's random letters and numbers. If we get a few more of you guys, then we can create our own tag. Plus, there's lots of other things on there. If you can help us out monetarily, please do so. You can check out our Patreon. The link is in the show notes, along with all the other stuff. And lastly, please join the Discord. We're all there. Discord link is oh my god. Discord.io/AH101. All right, I think that's it, besides all this crap that Elle's trying to make me say about whatever. You know what? Class dismissed. I will see you next week.
And I never hit record.
Hello everyone! Welcome to the Achievement Hunting 101 Game Club for OXENFREE. Last week we started playing OXENFREE, and we got started with the story. We met Alex, her best friend from childhood, Ren, her new stepbrother, Jonas, Ren's crush, Nona, and we met their classmate, Clarissa. We were also introduced to the setting of Edward's Island and the strange goings-on there. This week, we're going to dive in and really get the story going, and that means we're moving into spoiler territory. So even though last week we didn't get very far, this week we're really going to get going with this, and we're not going to hold back. So we're going to talk about everything that could happen. So if you want to experience OXENFREE for yourself and join us in the game club, I recommend doing so. Give a chance to play the game on your own, no guides, spoiler-free. But if that doesn't matter to you and you want to stick with us for the conversation, hear our experiences with it, thank you for sticking with us. We hope we give you guys a good time. So today, we start the story from our experiences at the top of Hardened Tower, where we made our decision about which of the characters we were going to rescue first. Either Ren off in the woods, or Clarissa off in Fort Milner. But before we start talking about how that worked out for us, I need to introduce our discussers for this week. With me again, I have CarpeAdam79.
Hello.
And Freamwhole.
Hello, everybody.
And now last week, you guys told me that you had both ended up selecting Ren as the character that you were going to save. So we're going to start that discussion with figuring out how that went for you, the path that you went on to go save Ren. So the first thing you have to do to save Ren is figure out where he is.
Yes, sir. Thankfully, they introduce you to a handy map feature, which paints a nice, fun picture of the island, although it is super unclear. Well, it's not super clear, but it's not terribly obtuse, especially when you see on the screen, you really only have two ways to go, with arrows pointing the other way. And one arrow clearly points to Fort Milner, and the other one is kind of go that way and see what happens.
Yeah, the map doesn't show actual paths or anything like that. It's very, very basic. Just in that direction is the next area you want to go to. But as far as the path to get there, it's not really shown. So which really it just kind of leads to more exploration in a way. So it works.
Now, I want to keep us moving pretty swiftly, so I'm going to jump us right past the point where we have to do some very light puzzling to get over the gondolas. And really, our first interesting segment of the path to go save Ren is when we get to the lakeside. We approach the lakeside, and Jonas is talking to us, and we start to walk down the path by the lake. And this is where the weird stuff starts to happen on this side of the island. So we walk past the lake, and we perhaps have a chance to see what's going on in the campsite that's been abandoned, and then all of a sudden, we're right back where we started from and walking past the same portion of the lake all over again. Guys, we're stuck in a time loop.
It was really weird, especially you've kind of gotten some hints of some of the weird stuff that's been going on, and things appearing out of nowhere. Just before we got to this, there was that power station when the lights went out, and then all of a sudden there was a chair in the middle of the path. I was like, what the hell is that? And so it's happening again here at the lake, and you're like, okay, that fire pit wasn't there before, but whatever. It's just a little game thing, and maybe we can let's just go see what's going on with it. And I think it's weird that Jonas doesn't know, he doesn't get what's going on, because you have to kind of explain to him no, you've done this already. And from a gameplay standpoint, it makes sense because us as a third party observer, we know what's going on because we can see Alex, and so the game director was like, well, the player knows, so let's let Alex know that we're in a time loop, but no one else around her can know. And so it becomes this weird scenario of hey, Jonas, how do I convince you something weird's happening when I can't really do anything about it? This fire wasn't here before. Those words you said, I know exactly what you're going to say before you say it. This whole and that's just the nature of time loops is how can you convince someone of something that's happening or has already happened? It's super bizarre.
One of the difficulties of a time loop is once you start introducing time loops into a story, you're never entirely sure where they start or where they end. you have the obvious one in front of you of walking through this and looping back to this point, but does it mean that we're in meta time loops? We'll come back to that idea perhaps a little bit later on, but for right now, let's really dig into what this time loop is all about. You walk past the lake, and things start to change. There is the fire pit, but the next time through, the fire pit is on fire. There's actually a fire. The abandoned camp has a fire going at it. Our next time through, there's a soccer ball.
Yeah, that soccer ball was strange. It was pretty funny, though, when like you make a comment of like, oh, I had this exact soccer ball when I was a kid. And Jonas is like, oh, God forbid a toy company makes multiple items of the same object to try and turn a profit. Boy, that's weird. And you're like, just shut up. This is totally the same. Leave me alone.
The fact that Jonas is talking like that was a little bit irritating. He's, condescending. And I said to myself as I was playing it that, you know what, Jonas, I'm just going to kick this ball right into your face. And as soon as I said that, the icon changed from just being the soccer ball to the kick the ball icon. I was like, cool. Jonas, here it comes. But that's not what happened. I did not kick Jonas in the face with the ball.
It definitely did not go that way. And it was funny that it, like, when you kicked it, it was just it was kind of a baby kick. And you're like, oh, well, that was... And then all of a sudden, zoop, it comes right back.
I didn't take it as a baby kick. Like, as soon as I kicked that ball and I saw it stop, I knew it was stopped by something.
Oh, really? I didn't think it did. I thought it was just kind of you were just tapping
I took it. No, I took it that I kicked it and something stopped the ball. And that's why it didn't go very far.
Interesting.
And then it kicks it right back to you. And the next time you kick it, it goes all the way to the edge of the screen. And it's gone.
Well, it comes right back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate at that point where, like, Jonas saw it and he's like, whoa, hold on. What just happened there? That's not right.
Yeah, he wants to take a photo of the moving ball. The problem with taking a photo of a moving ball is that it's just a photo of a ball at that point. The photo doesn't move.
No, you mean there aren't like little lines to show that the ball's moving?
Action lines?
Yeah. With what you said, though, about, Jonas's attitude and how he's condescending, have you noticed that people get that way when an entity is around, but they're not like that normally? Because I'm trying to think, like with Jonas, was he like that just when the two of them are walking around, or only when something funny was happening?
Interesting. No, he's usually pretty easygoing, fairly laid back.
Yeah, I didn't think of him being really a jerk towards her at all. But
I'm also wondering, in those other scenarios, other people were around as well. So is it that he doesn't know these, strangers, and so he's very reserved when, other members of the party are around? Or now that...
Well, he really doesn't know Alex that well either, though.
That's true. That is true.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'll keep looking for that the more I play.
So after we have the fun with kicking the soccer ball, it's still not done. The time loop's not over yet. We loop again, and this time Jonas isn't with us anymore. He's disappeared completely.
Yeah, that was weird too. This whole scenario is weird. Well, and the whole imagery changed, so it wasn't your normal kind of cloudy, foggy. Like the colors became more vibrant. The surrounding area seemed staticky. I felt like the blues were really blue. So it lends itself to the fact that, to me, I thought in this time loop scenario, we were no longer in, quote unquote, the normal loop. Like, I felt like we got pulled out and went on this separate path. Not that Jonas was pulled out, but that we were pulled out, because this is a different, dimension or different world or something. I thought we were the ones who were moved out, and maybe Jonas is standing there by the gondola still.
Interesting. Fantastic. So you start walking across the path by the lake again. Tell me what happened next.
Yeah, when you see your own reflection and it starts talking to you.
Like, very directly.
And it's not because you're talking at that moment and you're just watching yourself talk to yourself, but... That was weird.
What did your reflections say to you?
I'm trying. I can't remember what mine exactly said. I know from discussions that says something about Michael, right? Michael and Clarissa.
Yeah, my reflection said, "Yep, Michael should break up with Clarissa." That was the comment that it made to me. Something like I don't know if that's directly what it said, but Michael should break up with Clarissa. And my response to that was like, "But Michael's dead."
Wait a second. So I get it now. So what's going on is at this moment she's no longer in present time. She's in the past. That reflection is when she was there with Clarissa and Michael in the past. That's something that maybe she was having a conversation with herself at that moment.
Could be.
And that's replaying to her there. Because now she's outside of normal time and she's gone back into the past, sort of. And that's where she's seeing her reflection. So that is her reflection. That's not her. But it's her reflection from the past when she was standing there and she was talking to herself.
Interesting.
Yeah, this reflection is interesting, and I want to come back to it a little bit later on. And depending on how long this conversation goes, and maybe next week when we come back to it, but I'm going to come back to it, I promise. Because I think this reflection is going to be one of the most important points to take away from the game entirely.
Interesting.
We'll move on, and we walk past the lake, our reflection having talked at us, and we zap back one more time, and this time there's a strange device by the lakeside.
Right.
It's an old-style magnetophone, a piece of World War II era hardware for sound recording, like a reel-to-reel tape
Is
device.
that? Oh, I was gonna say the way you explained it, I was like, well, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a tape, an old tape player, and for those non-olds out there, it's like a cassette tape, which we used to listen to music on before CDs. It was remarkable.
What's a CD?
Yeah, but like the way that you interfaced with it, it showed this. There was a little tutorial, right, and shows your little thumb wheel going around. And to me, that what it looked like is you have to rotate your thumbstick, the right thumbstick. It reminded me of like when you would put your pinky finger or like a pencil or something into the spokes of that cassette tape, and to like rewind it and tighten up the band of music or whatever. So the imagery to me was, hey, the world that's playing right now is kind of loosey-goosey. It's fallen off the reel a little bit. So just get in there and just tighten it up a little bit. We got a little time loop. Just tighten that up a little bit, and we'll get back on track with the current timeline.
That's an interesting way of looking at it because of how time is kind of moving around. So it's kind of like time is on one piece of tape. It's like this steady piece of tape, but you can kind of move back and forth. And after you do that a few times, it loosens up. So to get everything back to how it's supposed to be, maybe it's more like not. Well, I guess it could either be that, or it could be more like rewinding or fast forwarding back to where you're supposed to be.
Right.
I don't know. Either way, but that's an interesting way with the tape and everything. Everything's very much with like either that or with the whole transmissions thing. It's going on where it's like everything is a radio transmission. It's really kind of interesting how it's all kind of coming together in a way.
Yeah, the game plays around with sound a bunch.
Oh, definitely.
And that's one of the reasons why it gets under my skin so successfully, because the audio aspects are so well done. They spent a lot of time. One of the things that the developers had as a goal was to mix analog and digital so that the digital sounds in the video game sounded analog. And they used actual recordings, and then they also made up recordings on the old style equipment. They went out and got old pieces of equipment to make new recordings on so that it would have that quality of sound as they digitized it.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
The soundtrack is something I'm going to talk about as well, and I think this might be a good place to bring it up. The soundtrack by Scientific is really pretty unique. The music is remarkably robust. It has a lot of interesting things in it that tie into some of the secrets on the island. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit later on. But it's also really interesting music that it sets the tone for the entire game, not just in terms of the emotion, but also just the style, where it uses a lot of the techniques that the game's trying to use with its audio throughout as well.
That's pretty cool.
On the cassette tape idea of using the pencil to wind it back up again, I think that's interesting because I know that as another old, I did that a bunch on my cassettes. It was always a tricky thing because you knew that every time you did it, you had to do it, but every time you did it, you were one more time closer to that tape just snapping and not being usable anymore. So every time we're spinning that wheel and winding this tape back up, I have to wonder, how much closer are we to just snapping reality here?
It's interesting, yeah, if you play out that metaphor a little bit more.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way. That's really interesting.
But we do succeed. We bring it back at least this time, and we move forward. We can head our way around the cliffs and find some anomalies, perhaps. I know, Adam, you found a fair number of anomalies in your playthrough.
Yeah, I think I found 6 or 7 so far.
Still at 0. I don't even know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, every time I see something on the ground that looks a little funny, I feel like it's a marker, like how we had all those stacked stones at the beginning when you learned about those anomalies in the first place. Anytime I see something, anything like that, or anything out of the normal, I just turn the radio on and I start messing around and see if something happens. Found some creepy stuff, that's for sure.
And it's all played through the radio.
The game is just chock full.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. The game does a great job of including these clues to the overall story. They're not really necessary, but the more you find, the more you're going to understand aspects of the story, and it will change how the game plays out for you. You don't need to find them at all, except eventually you're going to have to find them all for achievements, of course. But as you play through, the ones you find will change how the game is experienced. It's not going to change the game, but it's going to change your experience, and therefore what you think the end result of the game should be and is likely to be.
Yeah, I think the most notable one for me that I found so far is the one that talks about the people found dead in the cars in the water.
Was it like a news broadcast or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, Kronos. I think it was like a news broadcast about finding four teenagers, but I think it was in 2 different cars.
Yep.
And
it was all underwater.
And it's interesting because when they all went to the island originally, they arrived separately.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Clarissa,
the 3 on the boat, and then Clarissa and Nona got there somehow. We don't know.
So but there's 5 instead of 4. So then it makes you wonder, so who's the odd one out in that situation? Is it Alex and all the other 4 are dead and she's actually alive? Or is she one of the dead ones? Or is it not even that? So that's kind of where I'm trying to piece it all together right now. But that's where it took me to with everything that's going on.
That's super interesting.
I love how those little things make you think about it. Without that one radio play, you're not necessarily having those considerations, and how it's going to play out in the end will be very different as well because of those things.
Like me, I didn't hear them, and this is all new to me.
Go find those things, man.
Well, yeah. Now that I know what I'm looking for, I mean, and it's funny because they distinctly showed it to you at the beginning, like, oh hey, by the way, these rock piles, they're important. I just didn't pay attention.
Story-wise, the rock piles are left by previous teenagers who visited the island and were messing about as well, and just were exploring the radio in different parts of the island and found something interesting at that point. So that marks a point that you can find something interesting there, and it's different from the radio signals you get on the rest of the island, which are themselves very interesting, full of weird little tidbits.
Man, oh man!
We meet up with Nona. She's the first person we see on this path, other than Jonas, of course, or our reflection. And she's not all right. We thought she might be with Clarissa, but she's not with Clarissa. She's here, and she has not had a good evening.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, the strangest thing about that whole situation is the fact that she feels like that she's already run into you once before, other than when everybody was on the island together. Like she's run into Alex since the last time Alex remembers running into her.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Nona talked about? What she says that Alex had told her the last time they met?
No, I don't remember specifically, but she was not happy about it.
Yeah, she said. Well, I know she said she saw us at the pier, but that was all. I don't remember the context with which, like, what we had said to her.
She says something along the lines of, "I don't need you talking to me again about my dead grandfather."
Oh, weird.
Oh.
So whoever was Alex that she saw earlier was telling her things about her deceased family members.
Huh. Much like how Alex told herself about Michael and Clarissa. Dead family members.
Yep.
Huh. So well, no. I don't know how Alex would have known about her dead family members, though.
Well, Nona was part of this crew beforehand, right? So it's not necessarily out of the realm of believability. It's just Alex
would
Jonas who doesn't know.
It's clear Jonas couldn't have told her, but Alex, through some story we're going to find perhaps a little bit later on, perhaps not, depending on what choices you make in your playthrough, we find out that Alex and Nona aren't particularly close. They might probably know each other from school as in acquaintances, but they're not friends. They probably don't know a whole lot about each other's lives.
Gotcha.
So that is an odd thing for Alex to be talking about.
Yeah, and that would make sense since Nona and Clarissa seem to be friends, and Alex isn't really a fan of Clarissa's, and Clarissa's not a fan of Alex's, so it would make sense that Alex and Nona probably didn't talk much.
Yeah, I get that vibe, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nona doesn't even want to talk to us right now.
No.
So she's trying to get away from us as quickly as she can.
Yeah, it's almost like she's afraid of them.
Well, she's truly spooked. The evening has, like I said, not gone well for her. She has had a couple of bad experiences. Maybe she's been stuck in a time loop of her own. We don't really know because she's not telling us. All we know for sure is that she doesn't want to have anything to do with either us, Alex, or Jonas, or the two of us. She doesn't want to join up with us, doesn't want to hear from us, just wants to go find someplace safe if she can, and she doesn't think we're safe.
Right.
I thought, so during this conversation, like, I tried to change, because I clearly could tell that she was, nervous, spooked, didn't want to have anything to do with us, so I was trying to diffuse the situation by changing the subject, and so I was like, oh, hey, let's talk about something that she would be interested in, and so the option to say, hey, have you seen Clarissa around? And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I do think I know where she is. Let me answer her to try and, like, calm her nerves and say, hey, yeah, we're on her way to go see her after we go get Ren. So just stick along with us. Come with this. We'll make a bigger group. Everyone will be happier. And so one of the options is to say, yeah, she's in Fort Milner. And when I click that one, I started to talk, and Jonas immediately cut me off. I was like, oh, she's at 4, and Jonas like, you know what? Why don't you just go back to the comms tower, and you can wait for us there. We'll be right back. Just take, you'll be safe there. It's fine. And at that point, I was so weirded out. Like, why? What was the harm in saying, I think she's in Fort Milner. We're gonna go get her. Where Jonas felt the need to, like, say, no, it should just be you and me on this little adventure alone. We don't need her around. Get rid of her. Keep, this has really raised some questions about Jonas to me. What are his intentions? What's going on? Is he everything he says he is? I'm getting a little nervous now that Jonas is making some questionable decisions.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I know that would be a very, very different experience if you guys had gone to Fort Milner to try and save Clarissa. But in this context, that makes perfect sense, and I hear exactly what you're saying.
Oh, so if you go to Fort Milner first.
Yeah, you will have already known what happened to Clarissa.
Right, and you don't run into Nona until after you've seen Clarissa.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
if the same scenario happens to Clarissa, what happened in this direction, I could see why he would want to change topics pretty darn quick. That absolutely makes sense. But at this point, we don't know what has happened, and you'll have to let us know, Kronos, if the events that unfold in our loop as in Ren to Clarissa, are the same as Clarissa to Ren. Because in my head, they're flip-flopped. That what happens to Clarissa in our version happens to Ren if you go the other way. Because you hit him with the big surprise thing at the end.
We're getting ahead of ourselves there.
So let's we can rewind and
we'll come back to that a
revisit
little bit later on. We work with Nona, but at the end of the day, she is just not having it. She is going to... We convince her to go to the tower and wait for us there, but that's the best that we can do.
Yeah, and I ended up doing that accidentally.
Yeah, that's fine.
And now I know that that's pretty much what was going to happen anyway, but at first I was thinking that I messed up because I was trying to get her to stay with us.
Right.
Because having her just go off by herself didn't seem like a very safe thing for her to do. But so I thought maybe I had messed up, and so it's good to know that I guess that's pretty much the only option. She's gonna, no matter what you choose, she's gonna go to the tower.
Yeah, in a game like this, obscuring the parts that are mandatory is always difficult, and I think the game does a pretty good job of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of sections, especially in my first playthrough, where I was convinced that I must have done something wrong, and it was impactful when those things happened. It was like, well, I guess I just screwed up. I screwed up the game, and now I have to live with the consequences, and I'm not happy about that. But in subsequent playthroughs, I learned that it was essentially inevitable. So sometimes we feel really bad about it, but maybe it's all going to work out the way the game is expecting it to work out, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. So I'll give you guys a little bit of solace there. It is still deterministic. We have choice, we can control certain things, but not as much as the story is letting us believe at this point.
Sure.
We finish off with Nona, and we come around, and we finally meet up with Ren. The reason why we came this way, we wanted to get to Ren, we wanted to save him, and he's hanging out in the ranger cabin all by his lonesome.
Boy, was he excited to see us.
He's coming down off his high.
High as a kite.
Yeah, he was. But it was a short-lived excitement. He
Yeah, that saving him. Maybe it's really good that we came to visit him and save him, because he seems like he's fine on his own. But as soon as we get there, he kind of needs us.
Yeah, he starts to break down, and I'm trying to remember what exactly happened after we saw him, because as you try to progress, whoop, there you go, you're back at the beginning again. Guess what? Another time loop.
We just had one of these time loops.
This time the time loop gets a little funky because of how Ren is acting. I got almost like I think a Blair Witch vibe from him. You know, the whole, like, not that he was staring at a corner, but, you know, very similar type of thing, like head slouched down and just kind of, it was very...
Is this before or after he was dancing?
Very creepy. What's that?
Is this before or after he was dancing? Because I thought it was weird when...
I think that's after he was dancing.
Yeah, because he went up to that little area and he's doing the... I mean, he looked like a marionette, right? A puppet. And his arms and legs are kind of jauntily bouncing up and down. His head's bobbling.
We got to finish the time loop, which doesn't take much. It's the same mechanic as before. You twist the cassette and reel the tape back in, and get Ren to stop mumbling, and then he disappears.
And that's where the two...
He's very clearly Ren.
Yeah, that's where the two record players are, right? To fix the loop? Because there's one on each side of him.
Yeah, there are two. There are two of the magnetophones, and you spin those.
So I thought it was weird that he had to do two.
Play some music.
Like, I didn't understand why he had to do two. Like, he could have.
Yeah, we only had to do one last time.
Yeah, and so like I'm trying to like look into it about, you know, is there a purpose? Like, what? Because you could have gotten the same effect as, you know, if you play out this scene, you could have gotten the same effect with just doing it once. Like, the fact that you do it twice seemed weird. I'm not sure if the order in which you did it was mattered because I did the one on the right first, the closest to the perceived exit versus the cabin, the ranger's cabin. So I don't know if you do the ranger's cabin first and you go the other way, if some events change, but given all the the scenario events, I can't imagine that they do change in subsequent playthroughs. So it was strange that we had to do it twice.
Something to set it apart from the last time, perhaps.
Maybe.
But yeah, it doesn't seem to make any difference. Right or left, you do them both, and you break the time loop. Ren disappears again. He's just gone. Just like Jonas disappeared the last time. Only he disappeared in the time loop. This time, we broke the time loop, and now Ren's gone. We've lost him again.
And at this point, like, there's no possibility of leaving the screen, right? Like, no matter what, you will find him. You can't avoid the scenario of finding him up on the cliffside.
I can't imagine that it's possible. I don't remember testing it specifically.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine you don't find him one way or the other.
Yeah, I would think that's the case.
You mean you're talking about just find him over on the other end from just past the cabin? He was
up on the cliffside.
Where he ends up, like, up in the air?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I just by chance happened to look that way, because I hadn't explored the area. I mean, immediately when I saw the cabin, I was like, oh, I should go check that out first, and then Ren was in there. And then all the events took place, so after Ren disappeared, I was like, okay, well, I haven't explored this area yet, so I'm going to explore. And then I found him. So I don't know if you had already done the exploring, if you're like, well, I'm just going to move on then. I don't think, like you said, Kronos, there's no way, because the events that happen here are so critical. When you see Ren, and he is at the edge of this precipice, looking like he's on fire. Look, he looks like the Dead Cells guy. He's got black smoke pouring out of him, and he is slumped over on his knees. He looks just like a pile, like a dead human pile. Except that he's, smoking with black and they're not even flames. It's like this black smolder, this cloud. And I'm trying to remember exactly, but I feel like there's that little faint, like a little faint red light in there, similar to the.
Yeah, it's like his eyes.
Yeah, similar to the red that we've been seeing in some of these interactable elements. Like a lamp or lighthouse or whatever you want to call that thing. We see some of these red elements where if you tweak the radio, you can do something. And so immediately I see that, and it's like, okay, well, here's my mechanic. Let's start messing with him, and boy, do you mess with him. That radio does a number on him, that's for sure.
It seems to be causing him significant pain, honestly.
He doesn't look good.
He's not having a great time.
Especially, I'm trying to remember the course of events, because does the triangle show up first, or does he levitate in the air first? One of the two things happen, and both of those are like, okay, well, something's happening, but like the imagery of his body raising as if you were lifting him by his tongue, and his arms are shooting out to the side. I mean, like you said, the imagery is that this is painful. And he is doing things that are not of his own control. And it continues to intensify as you are dialing in the stations. So you see the triangle, it starts to do its line. He is raising up. Beams of light are shooting out of his extremities. And Jonas is over there going, I don't know if you should do this, man.
Your options are, got any better ideas? And I think I'm helping.
Yeah, I think I'm helping.
Yeah, it's back to the whole thing where it's like, if this was going on for real, I can't imagine I would be doing the same thing that I'm doing. But because it's in a game, I know that this has got to be the answer, right? Because it's not like I can just pull him down.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I know of that works with these anomalies or entities or whatever's happening, so let's go for it. Well, and if he screams a little, oh well.
And the fact that something is happening with you interacting, like...
Yeah.
But you're right. In real life, if you were doing this, and this thing is... Yeah, I'd be gone in a second.
Running back to the ferry as fast as your little legs will carry you.
Yeah, that would have happened long before all this stuff happened.
But we gotta find everybody. We gotta save everybody. We can't
Yeah.
just leave them behind to save ourselves. We're good friends. We're good friends. So that's why we gotta save Ren. That's why we gotta pull out the radio and use the triangle. We gotta use the triangle to save Ren.
Yeah, so we complete the triangle. It opens up another dimension, portal, whatever you want to call it, and Jonas disappears. He's gone. And we start to have a conversation.
What did the entity say to you this time? Last time we didn't get very far. We were trying to suss out who they were and answer a couple of questions. But it was a very short conversation. I was able to recite the entire thing. This time there's back and forth. The dialogue options will give you different responses rather than sort of a set thing every single time.
Yeah. So
how did the conversation go for you guys?
My approach was, so I was like, clearly at this point I'm freaked out. Even not only Alex as a character, but Brandon as a human is freaked out. And so my comment to them is, we need help. Something's going. We need help. And I don't remember. I didn't write down the entire transcript, so I don't know exactly what everything said. But Alex, like, there's a specific things I wrote down here. Was Alex said, "We need to go home." Like, we got to get off this island. We need to go home was my comment, and the voices said, "I'll go home." And it's like, wait, what? What do you mean I'll go home? What's happening? And when Jonas had left, there was some mention of Adler. I think either Alex. I think Alex said it. Of like, the voices said something about a woman, and I was like, the Adler woman. And the voices said, "Was young once. We were young once." I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, it was messed up. What were some of the other options? Like, what could have happened?
Well, they start off by talking about how it's hard to talk through the child. They feel stretched, but now that we've used the triangle to open it up, it's better now. Then they say, "We are abounding, not one." So this is, I mentioned last time that we were possibly dealing with multiple entities. This is one of those clearest sentiments that this is, in fact, multiple entities. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about multiple entities for me is that when you have multiple entities, you don't just have a single will. Right. In most cases, you can have a hive mind, but we could be dealing with entities that have a lot of different goals. They may have some overriding goals that they're all in favor of, but they're going to be interested in doing it in different ways, perhaps.
For sure.
And then ultimately, we move on. They talk about how we're silly, but they don't want us to be scared of them. They don't think that they're all that scary. We're terrified. Do not be scared. You are dolls. Would never hurt you.
That's eerie.
Yeah, that's not particularly reassuring to me, that they say that they wouldn't or couldn't hurt us.
Yeah, but when they call you a doll...
That's not friendly either.
You're very well, and it with the imagery of the puppetry, the dancing puppet and the hanging, the holding of Ren up in the air. Like, it's not lost on us that yes, you're treating us like puppets and dolls, but I don't recall ever hearing the phrasing "we would not hurt you." So at this point, because I haven't heard that, I am in a bad way. I'm like, man, these ghosts can do whatever they want to us, and we are just screwed.
Well, you mentioned that you said you wanted to go home, and at some point, I think in every situation they start talking about going home. We will go home, all of us, because leave is possible. And so at that point, they actually recite something back to you that you said to them in the cave the first time round. They asked, "Is leave possible?" And you're given a dialogue choice. And whatever you said in the cave, the entity repeats back to you now in your own voice.
That was cool.
Like it was recording you on one of those radio waves. Mm-hmm. And they end the conversation with pretty little Poppy, tag, you it.
That's messed up.
It definitely feels like they're playing a game, but it's not a friendly, happy game. They treat us like playthings. But they also have a goal where they want to get out of wherever they are, and they think that we are perhaps the tool by which they're going to get out. And we have the radio, so maybe they're right. Maybe we're doing something to help them with that.
I like it.
I just get the bad feeling that, like, their way out is to possess their bodies. You know, that's the big fear. That eventually they're just gonna possess you, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's part of the reason why you have those moments of lost time, because for a moment you're possessed by one of those ghosts.
Yeah, could be.
Yep.
Definitely could be.
Puts a different spin on the idea of our time loops.
Yeah. Well, see, that was the whole thing with how at the beginning, when we first do the thing in the cave and we all end up kind of spread all over the island, to me that's kind of like that's what happens there, is like that's when the time loops started, maybe. And so each person kind of went and did whatever they did. Like they did, I don't think they were just transported. I think everybody walked to wherever they ended up.
Yeah.
But they don't remember it because of these things that are happening with these time loops or something. Either that or they were possessed and walked over to that while they were possessed, and then the entity left their body.
It very well could be them just playing a game of tag if they're kids and use them as puppets. And they're like, hey, let's just play a game. And so I'm gonna take this body, you take that body. Let's just have fun. And we ended up in different places. The humans took over. We got to go. It could be as silly as that.
We conclude the conversation with the entity, and they give Ren control back of Ren, and we can move forward. He feels a little bit shaken by the experience, but he's a motor mouth, and he's still very hyperactive, so he bounces back pretty quickly. He recognizes that it's been weird, but he's ready to move on to his next step, and is not a whole lot worse the wear for his experience.
During these time loops and stuff, Jonas was getting headaches and stuff. Ren didn't say anything about feeling any different or feeling weird at all, right? He just is like...
Well, he's eaten more of his brownies, so he's feeling high.
Maybe that's what it is.
Did he eat more of it before that whole situation happened? I can't remember where the timeline is on that. I just remember when he tells us about it, and I remember my dialogue choice was something like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Or something like that. And of course, Jonas was definitely not happy about it either.
Yeah, Jonas and Ren are starting to have a little bit of an antagonistic relationship, which is interesting because, they're under stress, and Ren's reaction to it is, I'm going to just, try and level out his words with some more of my drugs. And Jonas has been there trying to help us get through these things and being very practical, although maybe not the most observant guy in the room.
No.
Yeah, but I definitely side with Jonas on this one. I mean, you're in a situation where you feel like your lives are on the line, people are missing, and the only thing you can think to do is get high. I think you would want to be more of sound mind and judgment and alert so that you can, make the right decisions.
Yeah, that would be my choice.
The three of us decide then to try and make it back to the tower so we can drop Ren off where he can recover from his ongoing highs and stick around with Nona to babysit for him because she's gone back to the tower. And we can do the hard work of going to rescue Clarissa, which I think we're going to have to catch up with next time. It's probably been covered by some of our community already, so this maybe is not the best stopping point. We wanted to keep moving forward, but we've got a lot of ground to cover in this game.
Oh, man, yeah.
So we're going to keep things moving week to week so we can hit all of the things and give it the discussion that it deserves, because this game has a lot going in.
For sure, and I have a lot to say about what happens next.
Yeah, I don't want to rush through the side on Clarissa's playthrough, because I think that is really worth delving into. I want to do it full justice. So we'll come back to that in a week's time. Gives you an extra chance to play the game if you haven't already.
Just to be clear, though, Ren just takes off on his own back to the tower, right?
Yeah.
You'd never had the option of going backtracking. You just went to the bridge to the right toward Fort Milner. Okay, just checking.
I think you could possibly backtrack and get all the way back to the tower and maybe check up on them, but you're not going to have anything significant there. He's going to go off and meet up, but you will move on.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys again about what the hell happens in Fort Milner.
Fort Milner is an experience.
This whole game is an experience. I can't wait to be able to just get back to it and keep on going through. I don't want to play ahead just because I don't want to have something, get something out of order and talk about something at the wrong time. But man, every time we talk about it, it makes me just want to play it more.
For sure. I'm hooked.
I love hearing that. I love this game, and I love that other people are hooked on it too. We'll give it another chat in a week's time. Hopefully we have more feedback from the community as well, and maybe even someone else from the community joining us. A great place to catch up with us is the Discord, if you're not there already. That's discord.io/AH101. And we have a channel there for OXENFREE discussion. Come on in and talk to us about it there. If you want to be in this discussion as well, part of the live conversation, hit me up with a DM, and I'll see if we can get you involved. Until next time then, guys, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. See you guys later.
Yep, it's been fun.
Hello and welcome. I'm Wakapeil, and I've made it to week 10 of the GTASCTT, and I hope you have as well. If you made it this far and like to get as far as possible, you will want to get some games preloaded. The May 2017 Games with Gold platformer Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams Director's Cut is infamous among GTASCTT veterans for its preloadable and high-value achievements. Originally, Giana Sisters was a shameless Mario Brothers clone for the Commodore 64. If you haven't seen what a blatant rip-off it is, I recommend binging a screenshot or look at the video. Anyway, Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams Director's Cut has 1000 gamer score worth almost 11,000 true achievement points. And while most of these are rather challenging, just playing through the 4 chapters will give you excellent TA difference. I might be mistaken, but I'm fairly sure you can choose whichever chapter you want and play them through in any order. If you play up to the bosses for each of the 4 chapters, they're worth 50 gamer score each, and in order worth 117, 222, 341 and 352 TA. If you defeat one single boss in hard mode, you'll also unlock hardcore mode worth 50 gamer score and 254 TA. This is challenging, but really not that hard if you are good at platformers. If you want to set up some real serious score and are ready to put in the effort, you can preload the game's thousands of collectibles by leaving an easy level unfinished. I've not counted them, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are close to 10,000 crystals to collect. This massive undertaking will get you 50 game score worth 675 TA and might be more trouble than it's worth, but the best is yet to come. Completing the time attack for each level will reward you with 100 gamer score worth almost 1,500 TA. The similar score attack challenge is worth 100 gamer score in just over 1,500 TA. 5-starring each level, which entails completing them with most of the collectibles in less than 5 lives per level, will get you 200 game score worth over 2,800 TA alone. As if that wasn't enough, beating the game in hardcore mode, which basically means beating the game without using checkpoints, is worth 200 gamer score in just over 2,900 TA. If you intend to preload these, I recommend you save one of the easiest levels for last to be able to unleash this massive score in a short amount of time. This is not easy, but the biggest hurdle for the completion is probably the fact that you have to play through the levels at least 4 times, and probably way more than that for some levels. The completion estimate on TA is 30 to 35 hours, which is a lot of time to put in. But if you preload it right, you will have around 9,000 TA, of which most is TA difference, to unleash in potentially less than an hour. That's all for this week. Have a nice day, everyone.
All right, so drop Marcus right here. Oh my god.
Caddy,
I was about to try to start saying something. And
Nate's
then
gonna
that happened.
come over and stab me.
And then the sirens will really make sense.
No, I'm just going to send 20 minutes of that to Fug.
Patreon exclusive.
Do it. Okay.